November Rain has 2.3 billion plays on YouTube. So this isn't just me being like, oh, I'm a weird old person who's like still fixated on this one thing. This is still like a very important like cultural holdover from the 90s.
I still can't handle the fact that he wrote this about his friend and then published it.
And his friend was like, hell yeah.
Videos. His friend was like, this is the best. You got it.
He's like, I'm going to write you inspired me to write a song.
You know me so well. I'm going to write a song about this book you wrote about me jacking off to a picture album of my suicided ex-wife.
Everything you're saying is correct. Nothing that you said is incorrect or an exaggeration. Hello, everybody, and welcome to 500 Open Tabs. I'm Kaveh Taherian.
And I'm Hannah Hillam. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome to the show. Hannah, how you doing? You look nice and underwater in some algae of some sort. You look like you're in a really cool office from, I don't know, SpongeBob or something. My tab today, this is a tab from before I even had tabs.
What?
Yes.
Huh? Okay. Ooh.
Which means we got to travel all the way back to the previous century when I grew up.
Oh. Okay.
I'm talking the 1990s, baby, when little Kaveh Taherian was in his preteen years. This is when
being asked to not talk to his friends in class.
Exactly, being ADHD,
put in the hallway.
Getting in trouble. Oh, God, I got sent to the hall. Why would you send this to the hallway? All you're doing is that you're putting putting me in a proscenium. You're putting a window here that I'm going to perform at while you teach the class, so that I stand outside and make funny faces to make my friends laugh in the class, and then get in worse trouble.
You are putting us front and center in a way we thrive in. Dude, I was such a hallway kid.
Oh, absolutely. I was in the hallway all the time.
Yeah.
Constantly. All day long.
That's what we should call it. Instead of ADHD, we were hallway kids.
Hallway kids. Hallway night watchers.
We were the night watch at the hallway. Anyway.
Watching those hallways while you were in class. Okay. Yes, I'm in my hallway getting kicked out. This is when MTV, music television, was still in fact music television.
Oh, yeah. Loved it.
Back in my day, MTV played music videos.
I watched those at night. That's it.
I watched those. I don't even know what MTV is anymore, to be honest with you.
It's reality TV.
That's what it is, huh? Pretty much.
But it's kind of edgier.
Edgy. It's edging. It's Edgefest, the reality.
It's Edgefest, yeah. It's Edgefest, the reality show, which is tune in to people just trying not to, anyway.
We keep showing them DVD videos to see if they'll break the Edgefest. Anyway, so the early 90s, of course, is the peak of music videos, not just in terms of our own tastes, because that's our childhood, but that's actually like industry output was like crazy. It's out of control. Like they were just constant because they had to fill the airwaves. So there's so many music videos that come out. Some of Hollywood's biggest directors come from that music video scene, like David Fincher, Spike Jonze, Explosion King, Michael Bay, all these people. Yeah.
I did not know that. Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. David Fincher was like one of the biggest music video directors, and that's kind of how he honed his craft. Crazy. It used to be that a lot of directors were they direct commercials before they.
Right.
That's kind of like where that era started, but then music videos was its own thing. There's a lot of famous music video directors that went on to direct big movies, but David Fincher is the biggest example that everyone always uses. He directed all these like George Michael and like Madonna videos, all kinds of stuff.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. It makes sense. It's like when you hear about like musicians now who would write songs for a bunch of people, and then they become musicians in their own right.
And it was cool because you're like, okay, well, we have to make this music video for this artist, and so it's a quick turnaround. It was a way of like essentially doing a lot of shorts and sort of honing your craft and really getting good at it. And then some
I was
going
to say that. I bet that was like a great practice, and which lended itself well to the transition to movies.
Exactly. But so nowadays it's very different. Everything's very splintered. So there'll be videos by like Megan Thee Stallion that has like 500 billion views on YouTube, and I'll have somehow like never heard of it.
Yep.
Not just because I'm old, but because, tech has siloed us all into personal prisons. Who? Stacey Abrams?
Great Gracie Abrams.
Oh,
Who's that?
I was like, Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams. There's just all these musicians where I'm like, sorry, what?
Yeah.
Who?
I just don't see it. It's not, again, I know the old person. This isn't the old person thing. I know the old person thing. This is different.
How it's set up. Yeah.
Yes. It's like set up so that you don't ever see it.
Ever. There's no more monoculture at all in any way.
No.
It's these little pockets. And then.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's like snake eating its own tails, just having to consume the same thing over and over again. But for a time, like you said, It was a monoculture. We all watched the same channel. And a lot of these music videos would be like these big cultural events.
We all had the same body image issues if you grew up a girl.
That's exactly right. I was going to say they had their own problems of especially not just in terms of body body issues, but also just non-mainstream artists jockeying for airtime and like who could fight for you the most. So it's like it's some of it was cool that I miss, and then other parts of it that are bad. It's good that it's gone.
It's both.
I miss the collective experience. Like that was the thing that was. It doesn't matter where you were from. Like we all kind of at least knew what main thing had happened or what main thing that we had seen.
And I remember being at school and some kid being like, "Okay, watch tonight, and you would see this music video and this song, and look for this." Because it was like people would like be like, "Oh, we'll talk about it," and you could go catch it watching VH1 or MTV.
Exactly. So one such video from this era always stands out to me. And if I had to explain it in today's terms, I feel it was sort of the best analog I can think of is like it was kind of like the Barbenheimer of its day.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about two different music videos where I'm talking about there's one music video that, forgive the dated terms, but it sort of combined this conventionally masculine and conventionally feminine things that crossed over into like one big cultural event that everybody was talking about.
Okay.
And I don't know if I was like, I almost considered texting you to be like, have you seen this music video? Because I could see you having not seen this because there's just parts of your pop culture knowledge that I know are just totally like erased.
Empty, gone. Yeah. Okay, well,
for those of you who may have known, you might have guessed, I'm talking about the 1991 masterpiece, November Rain by Guns N' Roses.
I know the song. I don't think I've seen the music video.
You haven't seen the music video?
No. Hold on. Let me check. Oh, no. Hold on. Can I watch it really quick?
Oh, no. I want you to hold. I want you to not watch it yet.
Oh, okay.
Does it look familiar or does it not look familiar?
Yes, it does. Okay. It does. I've seen this before. But it's one of those things where it's like, I was 5 when it came out.
Right.
But I had Gen X parents who watched a lot of MTV. And so there's these little like floating pop culture references that I like touchstones, but there isn't any solid memory of it.
Okay, that's good.
The beginning where they're in the field with the church.
Yeah.
I recognize that.
Okay.
I'm not watching anymore.
If you're a person who hasn't seen this video, you should go watch it because it's an all-time classic. Some of the most iconic imagery in the history of like capital C cinema. I love it. It's still like one of my favorite music videos ever. And at the time, this is crazy. I didn't know this. November Rain was the most expensive music video ever made, coming in with a price tag of $1.5 million, which adjusted for inflation is around $3.6 million.
That's insane. Movies aren't even made for that much.
No.
That's crazy.
The LA Times summed it up best. Quote, November Rain has become to music videos what Titanic is to movies. A tad over the top, maybe even a little corny, but undeniably effective, an audaciously romantic blockbuster that continues to resonate and generate feverish speculation decades after it was made.
Ooh, okay.
Which, on YouTube, by the way, this gave me hope. It's got like 2 billion views or something insane like that.
Whoa. So it's still going.
Yeah.
Wow.
The music videos that have like billions of views are all the ones that were like from the modern era. But the fact that this is from like 30 years ago and has that many.
Almost 40 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
So if you're a young person and this is before your time, it does. If this is before your time, I'm going to break it all down for you and I'll explain why this was such a huge deal. But in regards to how this was an early non-tab of mine, I'm going to explain that.
Okay.
So this video was part of a trilogy of videos that were produced for the Use Your Illusion records. The first one was Don't Cry, then it was November Rain, then it was Estranged. I don't know if you've seen all 3 of them or not.
I have no idea.
No idea. Okay. But it was a trilogy of videos and there was a narrative thread that carried across all 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
And they were all big budget productions. And
same band, right? I'm an idiot.
Same. It's all Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
Guns N' Roses released Use Your Illusion and then they had 3 music videos.
Oh, okay, that's the album. Okay.
Yeah. They're awesome and they're kind of a disaster and they're beautiful. And if you go back and watch them, it's like this moment in time, like just trapped in amber. It's like so early 90s, but not like grunge 90s. It's like the weird period of like holdover from 80s into the 90s because grunge was its own one specific
very much
culture that ended up taking over everything. But I don't know. I watch those videos and I'm like, I love these. Yeah. But so back in high school, Logan, who I've mentioned many times, one of my best friends, we were obsessed with Guns N' Roses. We loved GNR. And
why does that make sense?
Yeah, right.
All those photos you sent me of you like younger, it tracks.
Listen, if you played guitar or like had any interest in being in a band at that time and like kind of were interested, not just basic stuff, but if you're like, you inevitably go to Slash. All roads lead back to Slash.
Oh yeah, of course.
100%. And then you're like,
icon.
Oh, Slash is a cartoon character and an icon, but also you listen to his playing, you're like, this man is a poet. Like he's plays some of the most beautiful solos you'll ever hear. They're just in this weird package of a guy with a giant hair and a hat. Yeah. I love that, man. So at some point, you know, Logan and I used to go all the time to like Amoeba or like Rasputin and all that, or in the East Bay. So one of the times that we went, I don't remember where we went or what it was, but probably one of the both. You know, we went to the used record store and Logan found this VHS tape of the making, I think, of November Rain.
Dude, 90s kids and the making of videos, nothing better. They don't make them like that anymore. I've watched making ofs.
I don't think they even make them for music videos. I don't think I've seen a making of music video available on VHS. By the way, this is the oldest person story ever.
I don't care. I love it. The making of anything just gave, I think it was just like a dopamine release for me because I could just see what went into it. And it's like this, you get to see all the little bits and parts and moving pieces. Like I remember I used to like fall asleep to the Lord of the Rings extended edition.
Steven always talks to our friend Stephen Ray Morris. He's like those videos. He's like those DVDs he thinks influenced a generation to go into film. I'm like, I think that's fair.
I
to
think
be able
so.
to see that intensely in it.
I wanted to be an actor for a minute because of Lord of the Rings.
Listen, I love those movies. Never gonna shame
so
anybody
good
for that. Anyway, so also by the way, this is like DVD was on the ascent. So the idea that we found like a VHS tape of it was like kind of like weird and dorky and even more niche, but. And it's like kind of your standard BTS deal where they do like interviews with the band members about the production and how they write the song. But in the video, they also interview a man named Del James. And this is how we learned that the story of the trilogy of videos was inspired by a short story that he had written titled Without You. And at that time, there was no way to find his book of short stories.
What?
And I've always wondered what the hell this story was. Until today's tab.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding? So it's not even it's not even about the music video.
Oh so no, it's about all of it, Hannah. It's about all of it.
So you've spent 30 years with that in the back of your head.
Yes.
Being like, I wonder, over
what is
and over
this
and over.
Story? Yeah.
And you've never looked it up until now.
I had just forgotten about it. It was just buried in the back of my head. So for context to the listeners, I texted Hannah a couple years ago being like, my head's going to explode right now because I don't know how to, what was happening is that there's all this information that it's just been weirdly lodged in my brain that just all of a sudden came rushing forward, trying to like all push its way into how I was going to structure this tab. And I was like, I need to lie down because I don't know what to do with all this information.
It was this one?
It was this. Because I have years of Guns N' Roses lore and knowledge and all this crap that it's just, that's my original ADHD deep dive that I had done.
I was going to say, this is the equivalent of you like memorizing good hunting grounds and stuff.
Yes.
Like, no joke. Like, just like, this information can help us in the future. I need to keep it. I
don't know why. It was just a curiosity.
There's nowhere for it to go, but here.
Exactly. So it's like, I've been prepping for this my whole life to get to this tab.
Oh, I'm honored. And then the pairing. With my deep dive on why we are the way we are.
Here's your example of it. Yeah, here's 30 years of Guns N' Roses knowledge that is useless in any other context.
Textbook, as your psychiatrist said.
Yep. Also, I was talking about it with Sarah, and then Sarah and I watched the video, and then she got all into it, which was really funny. And she was like, "Oh, did you know this and this?" And I was like, "Yes, I did, as a matter of fact."
Actually.
We had our friend Alex who showed up, and she's a little bit younger, and she was like, she was like, November Rain? Like what? And then we sat down and made her watch all the videos together. And then she was like, hold up, something ain't right. She was all like into it. And then she was like calling us after it turned out to this whole shout out to Alex. I was like, I have hope for future generations because she fully got it. But
are you going to let me watch this?
Eventually.
Okay.
Because I want you to experience what we experienced.
Okay.
So for that, anyway, I'm already doing this where I'm getting manic about it, but let's go back even further in time. You
texted me 2 days ago. You're like, by the way, I'm insane and I can't have this tab ready because I'm insane and I went way overboard and I don't know what to do anymore. So we pushed it a day and then you were like, actually, I can do it the same day as I said I could because I went manic in the morning and finished it. And I'm like,
yep. This is
so now,
What do they say? They're like, write the story that you would have loved when you were a kid. I'm doing the tab that if I had heard this when I was like 16 or 17, I would have been like, okay, now I understand. Yes. So I'm reaching through time.
Yes.
To talk like to Logan and I.
16-year-old Kaveh, yeah.
Drinking Mountain Dew on a couch, playing Contra in between band practice.
So good.
Yeah.
That's the life. You got to send this episode to Logan. I don't know if he listens.
Will. Oh, I for sure will.
What up, Logan?
What up, Logan? Okay, so Adalberto James Miranda, who simply goes by Del James, was an aspiring writer and journalist when he moved to Hollywood from New York back in 1985. And by chance, he and Axl Rose had a mutual acquaintance who introduced them to one another. And Del and Axl became fast friends. And this is before Appetite for Destruction had even been released.
Oh, so it was before they were even a name.
Exactly. It was before they had really blown up. They were just sort of like gaining a reputation on the Sunset Strip. And by all accounts, they were and still are like BFFs who seem to genuinely see each other as creative equals, despite the fact that Axl is like a generational icon. But Axl holds Del in like high regard. And being a writer, Del took a lot of inspiration from his own experiences and the people around him, as one does when you start writing a story.
That's what writers do.
And at the time, Axl was living with his then girlfriend and eventual annulled marriage wife, Erin Everly, who, by the way, is the daughter of one of country music icons, the Everly Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. Dude,
I didn't know this.
This is the thing with music. You get into the nitty gritty and they're all married to each other.
Yeah.
They're all linked or they're all married to some actor's kid.
Someone's got to know the life.
Mm-hmm.
You seek each other out. Yeah. Knowing his best friend's strengths and flaws and undeniable talent, Del had a vision of the tragedy of what could become Axl's life. This is what drives him to write the story Without You.
Okay.
And after finishing the story, he called up Axl and he just said, "Hey, I just wrote my best friend's death."
Are you kidding?
No. It's kind of like it's cheeky a little bit. It's like cheeky, satirical, horror-y, like whatever.
Yeah. No, that sounds like something you and I would do.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, here's a story about how you finally die, Hannah. Yeah.
And I would laugh and laugh and laugh.
Exactly.
Like,
so that's kind of what it is.
Weird coincidence, I also wrote yours.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
So sensing Guns N' Roses' inevitable meteoric rise, Del wrote the story of a rock star named, are you ready for this?
No.
Main Man.
What? Main Man?
Mayne, Maine, and then the last name Man, like Mann. So on paper, it looks like a normal name, but of course,
like Amy Mann, but
Main Man, my main man.
Hey, Main Man. Oh, I would hate that. I'd be like, I don't want to call you that.
Yep. So Maine was a hugely successful rock star who had properties in Manhattan and Houston, a house in Maui, and of course, a requisite mansion in the Hollywood Hills. Who is
this? Okay, all right.
This is the story this is a story that Del writes. Where this is before Axl becomes big. This is a guy. He's like, it's not Main Man, it's Axl Rose, quote unquote.
I'm sorry,
it's not Axl Rose, it's Main Man. Basically, he writes a story of like, what if this is what I think is going to happen in Axl's life? It's like inspired by where he thinks Axl's life will go.
Okay.
Or like a version of what Axl's life could lead to. So Maine has all these properties. He's got a Hollywood Hills mansion, but he doesn't go there because it's filled with too many painful memories of lost love. He lives in this like separate condo.
But it has an empty house just dedicated to the loss of...
Classic Hollywood move.
Very.
And memories that he channeled into writing the biggest hit of his career, which was called Without You. Without You was inspired by his relationship with ex-love of his life, Elizabeth Aston.
Okay.
And on one of their last nights together, Elizabeth expressed her frustration with their codependent relationship by telling Maine, "I can't live with you and I can't live without you."
Oh, yeah.
Shrug emoji.
Shrug. You say that. That's one of your catchphrases now. It's perfect.
Because I hate it.
Yeah. Who made that up? Was it Alyssa that said that?
I think I said it. I think because I was too lazy to pull up the shrug emoji, so I just wrote shrug emoji.
You wrote shrug emoji, and now that's how you respond. Like, I get that message from you once or twice a week. Shrug emoji. He just spells it out. Also, I don't like what the shrug emoji looks like. You can't tell what they're doing.
You can't tell. He's like holding a couple of balls in their hands like this. I don't know. Anyway,
ball juggler.
As far as the events of the story itself goes, there's not much to it. So let me be clear. I went and found the book You can get like a Kindle version of it.
Really?
So,
okay, so it's available. You can find the story.
It's a collection of short stories. I found the short story itself. There's also a foreword written by Axl that's kind of long, which Axl Rose is pretty, unsurprisingly, he's a good writer. Like he's pretty
makes sense. Yeah.
articulate about the way I would argue, hot take, he's a better writer than Del James
really?
in terms of like how this, the way
like
that Axl explains
almost?
or just like his diction and like the way he explains what the book's about and like why Del is important to him and their relationship, I find far more easy to read than like Del James's short story. But that's neither here nor there. But the actual story itself, there's not much in it. It's a lot of like backstory and like internal meandering. And there's this weird kind of like erotic fiction as he remembers a lot of like sexual encounters with Elizabeth and like a menage a trois with some groupies on the road.
This reminds me of Dennis Reynolds in Erotic Life.
Oh yeah, it's totally Dennis Reynolds in erotic fiction or an erotic memoir. Is that what it is?
An erotic memoir. No, it's an Erotic Life.
An Erotic Life. Absolutely. That's like 50% of
Sinbad.
this. Yes. That's what it is. It's main man in erotic memoir.
Amazing. Okay.
There's also a bunch of like speedballing and heroin and doing cocaine and shit. And I'll get more into like specifically what happens in the story later. But so Axl says that his buddy Del had written an almost cautionary tale about him. Like if you're not careful, like this is the kind of shit that could happen to you. So Axl wrote this specifically, quote, "For me, the short story Without You helped me focus on what could happen in my life and sometimes what was happening. Although Del was being inspired by situations that were going on in my life, it was his way of helping me acknowledge and deal with a painful situation.
Whoa.
It stopped me at different times from going too far. When people are looking for their own identity and things that aren't going well, they'll settle for being the bad guy or the loser and create an identity that way."
Yikes. I hit home.
Right? Weirdly, I don't think, obviously, Axl Rose doesn't subscribe to this all the time, but a weirdly insightful thing for him to have said in the foreword.
Yeah, that's
I just said weirdly,
I find myself
by the way,
doing that weirdfully. Let's go with it. I find myself falling into that sometimes of making myself the enemy to people before they can make me the enemy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
and adhering to it, because it's hard to turn yourself around.
I'm a flake. I can't get things on topic. Back to ADHD, where it's like I'm gonna make myself a caricature of myself before anyone else can touch it, and so there I'm 2 steps ahead. When really it's just destroying me even further.
Axl Rose out here giving you good therapeutic advice, but it's also interesting that Del wrote the story as like a way to kind of tell Axl like, here's how you could screw up, and Axl's like, oh, okay,
really
like
sweet,
this is,
actually.
Yeah. They're total bros in that sense. It's really interesting, their relationship. So at this
cool
period
friendship.
of the mid-'80s, for Axl and Guns N' Roses, like they're prolific. Like they write like 1 million songs. A lot of basically everything that they wrote is like in this like 5-year period. And
really?
Yeah. And half of them don't end up like getting finished until like a couple of records later. Interestingly, Estranged, which is the third music video that's part of the trilogy, apparently that's Axl's interpretation of the song Without You from the short story. So in the short story, Without You is the song that he writes.
It's a song.
And it's about his relationship with his ex-girlfriend that makes him all this money and he becomes famous, right? Or I mean, he's already famous, but it's the song that's like his big ballad that everyone plays everywhere.
Him, yeah.
So it's almost like Axl, the way I thought about it was it's almost like Axl read a script for a movie and he was like, I'm going to write the song that's going to play in the movie. And that's what Estranged is, but for the short story.
Crazy.
It's fascinating. I thought that was so weird. So
that's
already
like meta.
Yeah, exactly. And already his friend wrote the story, and then that story ends up becoming a song on the next record.
This is the kind of crap I like. This is what I like.
Right.
This is like giving me the dopamine I need. This is completing the little parts of my brain that need to feel something. So thank you. This is really good. I know exactly why you've been obsessed with this for 30 years.
I didn't know that though. I didn't know that was the case.
Didn't. Okay, well already I'm in. I'm in. You got me.
So anyway, it's wild. But also as part of this initial batch, there's November Rain that he writes, but it's not like finished. Axl's ambitions are greater than any of his own abilities or his ability to like get his bandmates on board. Also, November Rain's a very different song from everything that's on Appetite for Destruction. It would have no place on that record. It wouldn't have made sense.
Okay.
But that's neither here nor there. They record Appetite for Destruction. It gets released. Everyone rightfully loses their shit and they become the biggest band in the world.
Right.
This is one of the best records ever made. I don't care. It's dad rock. I don't give a shit. It's amazing.
Who cares?
Suddenly, this fictional story that Del had written starts to become sort of like this weird reality. And from the prevailing narrative of music journalism, says stuff that like, oh, Smells Like Teen Spirit killed everything from the 80s and like everything from the 80s was done. That's just not true. Guns N' Roses are selling out arenas and shit worldwide well into the 90s. Same with like Metallica. It's just like a whole weird narrative that's been retconned, and I don't really understand why, but I guess it's cleaner.
It's because he died young.
True. Yeah.
I really do think that's it. You tend to glorify somebody's influence if there's a tragedy involved. And I'm not saying they weren't influential, but I'm saying that it solidified them as an iconic moment.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So they're going along, and then Axl's professional life starts reaching like outer space levels of success, obviously.
Right.
And meanwhile, his personal life, absolutely not.
Dude, I can't imagine shooting to stardom. That would ruin me as a person.
Here's the thing I always say. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. The thing that always trips me out now I'm 42 years old now. And I look back at the era of even now, still to this day, these people who are like a musician who like Billie Eilish is like, I don't know, like 11 years old when she reaches like worldwide stardom, right? Or like any of these people who are like 15, 16, 17, 18, early 20s. Axl Rose is like 23 or 24 when this band becomes the biggest band in the world, 25 or whatever. But I'm like, imagine being 25 years old and playing arenas of like 10,000 people. You are not, your brain is not fully formed. I mean, maybe yours is because you're a woman and I'm a man, and men's brains don't develop until later, but you just don't. It's crazy. And then the expectation, I'm not forgiving bad rock star behavior or like musician behavior, but I'm saying is there's this weird thing where the cards are stacked against you. You're not fully formed. You have no idea who you are. You have no idea how relationships work. And suddenly you're in this insane situation where all these people are like reliant on you for money, and they're trying to push you into a certain thing. They're giving you all these 23 drugs and money. You don't know your head for your ass from a ham sandwich, right? It's crazy.
Everyone's going to lose money. Everyone, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, so I have to do these drugs, these uppers, so I can play this show. Now I'm addicted. Oh, I got to keep doing it. It's just this cycle that never, ever, ever ends. And then, or it does, and it's tragic, or they get sober. You know, it's
or you don't do drugs and you have a mental breakdown like Britney, who's like part of the conservatorship and all that shit. And you're like, people are kept in these weird prisons for the sake of us being entertained. And it's really sad.
It always reminds me of the image of somebody shooting at somebody's feet and saying, dance.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get with these. It's like, no, we don't care. Dance. Entertain us, because that's what you've done and you need to keep doing it.
And I think this is pure, I'm absolutely projecting on this, but I would imagine part of this is also that's scary. It's upsetting. It's like music is a thing that these people love, and they love songwriting, and they love playing, and they love performing. And to have that thing that's so special to you sort of taken and made into this product to the point where you're like, every night you have to go do it and you have to put on a show and like have to get, and like, especially like bands when they go on tour at this time, like they're doing like 200 shows over the course of like 2 years or something. It's
each
crazy.
Weekend there's somewhere new.
There's got to be some insane unpacking that has to be done that takes years and years and years.
It makes sense why there's so much drug abuse and
and instability and all that.
Instability,
it's too much.
Broken
we're not meant to be like that.
Again, we're not meant to perceive more than 150 people.
100 people at a time.
It's it breaks your brain.
Anyway, so Axl and Erin Everly did get married on April 28th, 1990, but it was pretty much a disaster right out of the gate.
Oh.
It was plagued by constant fighting. Tragically, they had a miscarriage like a couple months into the marriage, which I think like pushes it even further.
That's really
into
sad.
An unraveling. It's very sad. It's really upsetting. And their marriage eventually ended about 10 months later.
Oh, wow.
They had gotten married in Vegas, with Axl stating, quote, again, weirdly, Axl Rose, when he writes, I'm just like, he sounds like a really mature adult, which his reflections don't really be, his actions don't reflect this. But he says, quote, Erin and I treated each other like crap. Sometimes we treated each other great because the children and us were best friends. But then there were other times when we just messed up each other's lives completely. Again, so like weirdly beautifully written by Axl Rose.
The children and us were friends?
Yeah.
Why? That hit me really hard.
It's so heavy, right?
Oh my gosh. Look, because I feel, wow. Sorry, give me a sec. That's really poignant.
Yeah.
The children and us were friends. I feel like that a lot.
Yeah.
Not with my spouse, but just like there's a child and need it.
Oh, that's what you look for.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, don't want to overly state here like Axl Rose being a great guy who's well adjusted. I just mean that when he writes these things that are weirdly really beautiful.
People can be many things.
Yeah. And it's sad, but like we said, the A&R monster must be fed. And it's time now, after they go around and they do Appetite for Destruction, it's time to record their follow-up. And despite being plagued by, they're plagued by excessive ambition, egos, infighting, too much money, and of course, a lot of drugs and booze. Guns N' Roses managed to release Use Your Illusion, not as one, but as a double record, 2 separate albums simultaneously released that debuted at numbers 1 and 2 on the Billboard charts for the week of September 17th, 1991. Wow.
That was what people were doing at the time. There was a lot of the double album releases, like I just keep thinking of like Sandinista by The Clash. Like they did a double album, but it's one of those things where a lot of times it doesn't work. Like they could have done one and just cut half those songs, but it sounds like they did a double album and both of them were like number one.
But did Sandinista come out as a double CD or 2 separate records? Which one? No, I'm saying did it come out as a single release, had 2 CDs on it?
Okay, yeah, it was 2 CDs. No,
this is literally there's Appetite for Destruction separate? 1 and Appetite for Destruction 2.
Oh, so they were separate entities.
Correct. Whoa. They're separate CDs, so you buy twice the amount of CDs. So number 1 and number 2, I think I think Use Your Illusion 2 was number 1 and then Use Your Illusion 1 was number 2.
That's
crazy,
wild.
right?
Like,
but I can't overstate how big this band was at the time. And of course, to match a gigantic record with double the ambition, you got to have an insanely large music video to match it.
Yes, you do.
And Del and Axl, they're still BFFing and their dreams are getting bigger and they're chatting about whatever, probably like, sitting on the phone, like on their beds, painting their nails, being like, oh my God, what do you think we should do with this? And
moving their feet back and forth,
Exactly.
Swinging their feet.
Twirling.
I think we should make a 3-part music video that ruins Kaveh Taherian's life.
Or does it enrich it? No, they do. So actually, they initially discuss about turning this. They had this ambition to turn Without You into a feature film. There's all these discussions that they're having.
Okay.
But they do something more unexpected. These songs were inspired by a relationship in Axl's life, and now Axl's life had suddenly become the story that was inspired by this relationship, which is like weird, like you said, this is bizarre meta construct. It's all messy and interconnected. So they thought, screw it. Let's make a trilogy of insanely huge music videos that tell the fictional, quote unquote, story of Main Man.
Amazing. This is insane already.
As I mentioned, Estranged was directly influenced by Without You. So obviously that would be one of them. The forthcoming November Rain was the song's predecessor in the story, because that one was about unrequited love. And then Estranged was about sort of acknowledging that. Right. So what would be the first one in the trilogy? So I know I'm just saying this. I know they're asking themselves this. I don't think that.
Oh, sorry. I was like, I don't know. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I know you wouldn't know like all the different singles that were released.
It's funny because Guns N' Roses is one of those bands where I was like, it was like Beyonce, where I'm like, I don't know what she sings. I don't know what Guns N' Roses sings. And I hear a song and I'm like, oh yeah, that's Guns N' Roses. Or that's Beyonce for me. That's what Beyonce is. I'm like, what does she do? Oh yeah, a bunch of stuff.
Greatest hits, Welcome to the Jungle, obviously.
Of course. Oh,
Sweet Child of Mine.
Oh.
Paradise City.
See, I didn't grow up listening to that because it was a little more kind of cheesy stadium rock, and my parents were like, my dad was always like, we don't allow anyone to listen to Styx.
We're going to play Mazzy Star in this home.
No, my dad was like, we're playing 70s punk rock and new wave. It was, I don't know. It
doesn't have to be either or. That's the myth. I love all of that.
It's funny because my dad is like, there's a lot of, you would understand this, but like my dad and my sister both have a really hard time with anything that sounds like a musical. So anything that's really earnest or like cheesy. So like Queen, for example, like my sister cannot listen to Queen because she's like, it just sounds like a musical and I hate musicals.
I could understand that. I still love Queen, obviously, but
I love Queen too, because to me, it's like, it's Freddie. It's not a musical. It's like, it's
opera. It's not
opera.
Musicals,
yeah,
it's an opera.
Exactly. But so there was all those like Styx and like Journey. Those were, my dad was like, I know, I can't handle these.
Well, I didn't really listen to Styx or Journey, to be honest, but
they're
part of it too was
earnest in a way that is uncomfortable.
And but the thing with Guns N' Roses for especially Logan and I, it was like there's so many of those riffs where you're like, you had to have been on heroin to write this riff.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't make like no sober person would have written. Yeah, it's
right.
Like funny enough, Mr. Brownstone, the song's about heroin. If you go listen to that riff and you try and figure out how to play, you're like, why would your fingers do this? Like, it doesn't make sense. And so it's like,
Crazy.
there's this fascination with like these rhythm parts. And then of course, Slash being Slash, you're like, oh, again, I always say that like his solos are always he's so melodic in a way, but it's got the veneer of like the shreddy part of it. But it's
when you really,
so much
really
more
listen to
like,
it, you're like, this is crazy.
Yeah, particularly November Rain. But anyway, so to go back, so they're like, what's the first music video going to be? And so their first single was a song called Don't Cry, which you probably haven't heard that one, but don't you cry tonight, I still love you. You know that one. Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that's going to be their first.
one.
You have heard that one. Yeah, that's the first single from that's the first music video in the trilogy.
Okay.
And that song was written about, it was a love triangle that was between Axl and recently departed guitarist Izzy Stradlin that were both involved with like one woman. And then they kind of have this, so according to Axl, they have this like tension between him and Izzy, and it was kind of weird for a while. And then eventually Axl buried the hatchet by showing up at Izzy's door like in the middle of the night with lyrics to Don't Cry as like this weird peace offering. And he's like, let's write a song about it instead of going to therapy, like bros before hoes, whatever.
It's so high school. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's very high school. But again, they're like 20, whatever, 2.
And they're going to be that forever. They're stuck at 23.
They're trapped.
Yeah. It's like Justin Bieber. I can't blame him for most things. Just like,
Oh, yeah.
He's 14.
Oh, yeah. That's another one. I was like, that kid was like 11 when he got famous.
He didn't stand a chance.
Why do you expect him to adjust?
Stop holding him to the standard that you hold to everyone else when you put him on the pedestal and then got mad at him for being on the pedestal.
Right. How is a 12-year-old's brain supposed to react to that?
Right. It's
without
not. They're
proper
12.
parental sort of like interference.
And he did not. That's the problem.
He did not have it. Yeah.
No.
So they write the song, and Axl sees this music video called by George Michael for Father Figure. I don't know if you've ever seen that music video of the song. That's a great song, by the way. A lot of George Michael songs were great. And the director, his name is Andy Morahan. So he's like, great. That's kind of the vibe that we're going for. So he recruits him into this little creative pocket with him and Del.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to bring our creative ambitions into life. And as I mentioned before, Without You doesn't tell a huge story so much as it tells a bunch of backstory. There's not really like a clear narrative that could be told episodically. So they kind of like come up with some new ideas, and they take inspiration and they mock up an expansion of apparently what some people now refer to as the November Rain cinematic universe.
Amazing. Okay.
There's this whole other podcast
one of the Hemsworth brothers in there.
Yeah.
Surely they're available. Maybe like 6 or 7 years old. Let's get them in.
And then they put together Don't Cry. And Don't Cry would be rife with symbolism. Birth, death, being literally frozen in a state of paralysis, drowning with a loved one because they can't let go, exploding Mustangs, helicopters, guns.
The exploding Mustang part of a relationship is always the hardest. When we both go out in a fiery death in an exploding Mustang.
That's the thing they say, is that like you got to generally wait after 6 months, because if all you're thinking, you're in that weird like love mode where you're like, oh, it's the honeymoon phase, the exploding Mustang phase could misalign you. It could make you think that that's going to be all exploding Mustangs all the time, but after 2 years in a relationship,
life's not all exploding Mustangs.
I wish it would be.
The old adage goes.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I love making up old sayings that don't exist.
Listen, my dad used to say, don't marry a girl just because you guys exploded a Mustang together.
While it's fun and the adrenaline does bind you together, might not last.
Ironically, an old Iranian phrase. I didn't know that until lately, but I have to read into that. I'm going to do a tab on exploding Mustangs and old Iranian lore one day.
But Mustang meaning a horse.
Exactly.
Traditional.
An actual exploding horse.
Exploding.
No, at one point it's like slashing this girl, or like she's like screaming at him as he's driving the Mustang, and then he just drives it off the cliff with her in it, and he's in it, and then you think they die, and then they blow it up in the video, and then it cuts back to the top of the mountain, and then he's just playing this solo like shirtless, and then he just throws the guitar off the cliff and then walks away. It's like one of these, like, it's so 80s 90s, and you're like, I don't understand what's happening, but it's imagery and it's insane, so it holds my attention.
I see. Yeah.
And there's an eventual rebirth in it. You should watch that one after this. It's really bizarre. It's cool. It's a really cool video. But despite its morbid appearance, I think it's actually meant to be kind of like a weirdly positive story, because
that sounds like it to me. Yeah.
In the thing, it's like it's about the death of main man, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about like, and there's a bunch of shots of like Axel as like a corpse. You would like this part. He's like literally buried and like they're hanging out and you see they're in a cemetery and you see his tombstone and there's like a dead Axel that's underneath the ground going like, oh, and he's all green and it's supposed to be like his gangrene body that's decayed.
Gross.
But then he's like on the surface with his girlfriend and it's like, it's kind of hard to piece together, but
it's like rebirth through destruction kind of thing.
Yeah. Rebirth through destruction. But I think it's about his old ego and how he needs to like let go jealousy ego and selfish. Death, yeah. And they do actually, he goes to therapy in the music video, which is depicted in it.
And so he's doing like this.
Yeah, he's like, oh, he's going through, I think it's regression therapy is what it was.
Oh, yeah.
That they're depicting in it.
That's sketchy. They don't do that anymore.
But listen, he's a rock star in the early 90s. He's trying.
He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. And he needs to let go of old hangups or something. And it's kind of fascinating to look at. And when it gets time to cast who is going to play Elizabeth to Axel's main, they decide to cast Stephanie Seymour. Do you remember Stephanie Seymour?
Wait, wasn't she in? No, that was somebody else. Not Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right?
I don't think she was in that movie.
Oh, that was Sloane. Sloane something else.
Oh, yeah, not actually
Stephanie Seymour. Hold on, can I look her up?
Yeah, look up Stephanie Seymour.
Oh, yeah, okay. I know who she is.
She was a huge deal.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Interesting face.
Yeah.
I know who that is. Anyway, they cast her.
And this is back when supermodels were like world famous. Like that was a thing from our childhood that I remember too. Also in a lot of music videos, particularly George Michael, he used to cast
very much. There was a lot of supermodels. I mean, just like they were like goddesses almost. They were like these worshipped the world over. We all know these like Venuses. Like
they're all like 8 feet tall. Yeah,
and they're all like perfect, voluptuous, and strange faces, but that are beautiful and iconic.
Yeah, and so Stephanie Seymour was also like hugely popular. In particular, she had been like on the cover of Vogue. She was a Victoria's Secret angel. She was in Sports Illustrated, exactly. And now she was going to be like in this Guns N' Roses music video. So everyone's like, "Oh my god, what?"
It's a big deal.
So I think, if I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken, but a lot of people assume that they were together.
Here's how I know who Stephanie Seymour is because she dated Julian Casablancas' dad.
That's right, because she was signed to Elite.
But she was a child when he dated her.
She was young, yeah. He famously 14. Dated a lot of young ladies.
He was 42 and she was 14.
Great.
Yeah.
He was 42, my age. Me dating a 14-year-old?
Yeah, that's a crime. You're grossed out because you're normal, so.
Ew.
Aren't you happy? Aren't you happy you're normal?
Yes. I'm glad I'm not dating a 14-year-old right now.
I got really deep into reading about the Casablancas because I was like, hold on. He comes from what family?
Yeah.
The Casablanca. And yes, I knew about her because of this.
Yep.
Anyway.
So I think the general knowledge was that Axl Rose and Stephanie Seymour were dating already, and that's how she got cast. But I don't think that's the case. I think what happens is that she gets cast, and then they like form this connection, and then they start dating.
Oh no!
And so now we are through the looking glass, people. Okay, this is a music video for a song based on a short story based on a relationship with his ex that Axl Rose is now acting in with his new girlfriend.
With his new girlfriend that came about because of this casting decision.
This is the messiest shit ever, right?
This is insane. So what in the world?
One scene in particular stuck out to him, which was when Elizabeth struggles to take a gun away from Maine, who wanted to unalive himself.
Okay.
Quote from Axl: "In real life, that happened with Aaron Everly and myself. I was going to shoot myself. We fought over the gun, and I finally let her win. I was kind of mentally crippled after that." So, literally,
and before that right. Sounds like to get to a point where you would kill yourself in front of your girlfriend. Yikes, dude.
He's doing it with his new girlfriend for this music video that's costing like millions of dollars.
This is ruining
so
him.
Messy.
This would ruin me. Be like, here, relive the thing you did when you were at your absolute lowest.
I don't know where reality ends and fiction begins.
I don't think this is. None of it's real. None of it's real.
It's not healthy.
You're in a showmance. You never did theater. When you're in a play.
Yeah.
And there's the showmances, the show romances.
Like the people who hook up while they're on the show or whatever.
It's a different kind of thing. It's because you're in a little like microcosm. You're in this tiny little, and suddenly, I guess, I don't know. Suddenly it's like they're everything. And then the show ends and you're like, ew.
Oh, yeah. No, it's the same thing in film sets. Everyone has a set crush.
You're right.
Set crushes. I mean, literally, my wife, Sarah, and I were,
Oh,
although
duh.
I didn't have a crush on her at the time. We didn't really talk until like the wrap party. And then it was like, or like the last night of the shoot. And then I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you're cool. Because we were totally different departments. So we didn't really interact.
When she
that
saw all
much,
your
but
drawings in your car.
That's,
she told me about
that's
that.
the story. She saw all the drawings in my car when she had to move it
You're like,
for a
"Take
shot,
this
not
to my
because she was a
car."
valet driver.
No. Racist.
Yeah.
No, she went to the car. I think I heard this from her, and she was like, I just saw his trunk was like littered with drawings.
With call
filled
sheets.
with drawings.
Again,
The call sheets,
bringing
yeah.
it back, the call sheets were just filled with drawings.
Covered in drawings. And she was like, oh, this is
he
cool.
can draw? Weird. And then came and talked to me about art
By
stuff.
the way, everybody, art does get you places.
It does.
Everyone
Art
to
gets
know
you a
that.
great wife. More specifically,
scored, dude.
doodling in the margins of your papers is what led me to my wife. I can say that.
And she's an amazing person.
She is. Don't give up doodling, kids. Keep
Don't
doodling.
stop.
It might lead you to the love of your life.
You know, or you might just doodle on the receipts at Starbucks that you work at. And that's fine.
Anything.
That could lead to something. Never stop.
Make sure that you're doodling. Anyway, so Axel, his life's becoming insane. Nothing makes sense. Up is down, down is up. But again, the moral of Don't Cry, I think, is supposed to be like one of letting go of bad things, even though there's a lot of messed up stuff that's depicted in it.
Yeah.
And it comes out, of course, the song is huge. The video is massive. Everyone's listening to it and playing it. And now he's got this another hit from this hit record. He's got a supermodel girlfriend. And this video has sort of helped him shed some immaturity. The stage is set for him to take this all to the next level of something more mature. And they're finally ready to get to our magnum opus, November Rain.
Yes.
And that's where I'll pick up
No.
on next episode. So we discussed this at the end of the episode last week, which was you hadn't seen any of them.
No.
But you had actually, I did allow, I did send you a link to watch Don't Cry. So
you came to where I'm locked up in a dark room and you said, here, you can have this.
I'm like, here, you can put the lotion on. It watches Don't Cry again. Or it gets the hose again or whatever. It puts the lotion on its skin and watches Don't Cry, or it gets the hose again. Don't Cry. Thoughts before we start?
So it's just so tacky and amazing. Like, I was like, oh, there's a baby in this. And then I was like, there's a lot of ladies. I'm confused about which one's which and who's with who. And then there's Axl Rose with the, my goodness, I forgot what he looked like.
Yeah.
So young.
Very young.
Very, like a baby.
They're all very young. Yep.
Yeah. They all look like they're 20 because they probably were.
They are basically 20 at that time. Yes.
And it's like, no one should ever give a 20-year-old this much fame. But I mean, whatever. We'll do it forever.
Or should they?
Or should they? But then there were some ladies in there, and then he was like, they were like, oh, there was like some light domestic violence.
Yeah.
He's like, oh,
remember that's the scene where he's trying to unalive himself.
Yes, and she's
then
like, give me
she
the gun.
stops. She's like, no, you can't. And then he's like, you don't tell me what to do. And then they get in a fight.
Push you. Yeah, they get in a physical fight, and then later everyone's fighting, and then anyway, then he drives a car off a cliff. That's the best part of the video.
He doesn't. Slash does.
Oh, right. Slash drives the car.
Slash drives the Mustang off the cliff.
That's right.
While his girlfriend, presumably whoever the lady is screaming at him.
Yeah,
and it's this beautiful old 67 whatever.
Slash commits murder-suicide.
Murder-suicide.
And then it pans up to Axl Rose, right? Yeah, just like...
No, it's Slash. Slash is wearing nothing but leather pants, and he's playing the end of the solo. And then he throws the guitar into that cliff. Slash.
And then it was him again? Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it's all weird, and that's what I'm saying. It's all weird and surreal.
There's so much hair. There's so many people with hair that I get the hair mixed up, okay? So, yeah, Slash commits murder-suicide, then, like, miraculously is, like, shredding on a guitar up at the top of the cliff. And then after that, I kind of went into a trance and kind of blacked out until at the end, a baby came out of some water. There it is.
He's reborn.
Like, reverse baptism. Oh, yeah, or reborn. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I told you I'm bringing a lot of panic to this episode.
Perfect
I'm going to make it fun.
Yeah. I'm glad you watched it. And here's what we're going to do today. Before I start my tab, what we're going to do is we're going to watch November Rain together.
Okay.
And we're going to record it. And then this is going to be a Patreon exclusive, is to watch.
Is it really?
Yes. I'm going to say this right now on top of it. We're going to save this for later.
My reaction.
Of us just watching it together. So before I get into the tab, I was thinking about it like every which way. It'd be like, what am I going to do? How am I going to? Because I'm like, is it funnier if I explain the whole video? But then I also feel like it's so insane that you kind of need to see it.
So everybody who's not on Patreon, go watch this, right?
Yes. Or, I mean, some people have seen it, but if you are not on Patreon, go sign up for the Patreon so you can watch it. That was a ride.
That...
Okay.
Okay.
So we've just watched the music video for November Rain. And Hannah is, she grumbled.
I didn't grumble. I yelled the whole time.
No, crumbled.
Crumbled. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I crumbled. That was, that was 9 minutes of confusion. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what happened was that he and his very reluctant looking bride were in a church getting married by some like priest who was obviously had eyes for Slash. Like
the priest had eyes for Slash,
yeah,
or she
did you see him
did?
Smile at him?
No,
he was like,
I think he's like getting his attention. Here, I'm gonna do this. I wrote down a recap of it, and then why don't you weigh in on when you feel is necessary?
Yeah, because I don't have any concept of time or like order of things. Order of events.
Okay. So yeah, the recap. The video begins with Axel, or main man, of course, because that's who it is.
Right,
it's the short story, quote unquote, character. He's having trouble falling asleep, so he pops some pills.
And turning.
He's tossing and turning. He pops some pills, and off he goes to have an adventure with Little Nemo in Slumberland. And
love that.
Of course, you have like your standard band performing intercuts, which in this case, by the way,
such an illustrator deep dive right there, an illustration deep dive. Little Nemo in Slumberland. I don't think anyone besides illustrators know what that is.
Winsor McKay is one of the greatest draftsmen that ever lived.
Absolutely.
Listen, I know that some of his stuff was very uncouth and racist for the times, but the perspective that man knew how to draw in for those buildings is unbelievable.
I still lift color palette. Not anymore, but I used to lift color palettes and go off of them from Little Nemo because I love that so much. I love his color palettes. Anyway, go.
Yeah, so that's where Axel is. He's hanging out with Little Nemo. He's taking drugs to go to sleep. Then they cut to the band performing, because every music video has to have the band playing.
Oh, yeah.
They're
an orchestra.
It's a full orchestra, despite the fact that all the strings on the recording were synth.
What?
Yeah, all that synth. That's like Axel with like 10
they were
keyboards
just, like,
or something.
Pretending to play?
I mean, I think they're playing in the performance when they're actually... I don't know if you knew this or not, Hannah, but when bands perform for music videos, they've already recorded the song.
No! You have ruined the magic of music videos. Oh.
That was filmed at the Orpheum, by the way, in case anyone's curious, in Los Angeles. But... basically, it starts and then it goes pretty quickly into the meat of the video, which November Rain depicts the fictional wedding of main man to Elizabeth, which, of course, in this case is Axl Rose and Stephanie Seymour. And it's not just a couple of shots of like wedding dresses and bridesmaids and shit like that. This is like a whole ass wedding ceremony. It's fully all of it.
Like crowds, everyone's dressed up. It looks like we're watching an actual wedding, except
they're
all dressed like clowns. Like circus. No, not clowns. Like a circus conductor. That's what Axl Rose looks like. He comes in and his wife's like, I wore this insane dress and this is what you're wearing?
So 90s. I love it though. Her dress. What did you say? It's like it's not cut. What did you call it? You said it's got a tail or a trail or something?
No, it's just that dress is just the trail. The trail, yeah. Whatever. It's like a mini skirt like in the front. Tiny mini skirt and then just a trail of dress behind. I mean, and then
showing is it the garter belt? Is that what they call it?
You see the garter the whole time.
Yeah, the garter.
We didn't do that at our wedding.
You didn't do a front cut off mini skirt with a trail?
I pulled my dress way up. No. We just didn't do a garter. We
didn't do a garter either.
Oh, I don't remember. I feel like I'd remember that.
I don't really like garters.
But
anyway. for a wedding, I think it's kind of like... Ugh.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever. Not here to judge people. But anyway, they have some flashback memories of being rowdy at the Rainbow Room. But like you said, Axel is dressed to the nines. He's to me, he looked like Jareth the Goblin King from
but like Trailer Trash Jareth.
Trailer Trash Jareth, but with like a less distracting giant bulge in the front of his pants. But like I feel like that's the vibe he was going for. He absolutely 100%. Looks like Jareth's younger brother, who's maybe not as
looks like a working class Jareth, which I think is I like. He's representing the working. My whole chair just fell down. Sorry, just a sec.
That's Jareth the Goblin King basically putting a hoax on you for making fun of his little brother.
His little brother, well, I just like that he's representing the working class Jareths.
Yes, I agree. It's not a derogatory thing to say that. But anyway, so then they exchange vows, and it's time for best man. I think you missed the point of what this was. Best man Slash is supposed to hand over the rings. That's why he's doing this. And he's like, oh, shit, I forgot them.
He can't find them.
And then Duff, who's the bassist, taps him on the shoulder, and he's like, And then he reveals that he remembered to bring the rings and he is wearing them on his pinky finger over his black leather gloves.
Stupid.
Which, no joke, I think about that interaction like 3 times a week. Like that is so burned into my memory of just Duff going, "Don't
worry, I got it." And like,
I got it.
Like almost like a insanely like overboard gesture of like, by the way, here you go. And puts
but also
right
it's over the gloves. That's my favorite part. He's wearing black. Why is he wearing short black leather gloves to the wedding? I don't know. But then he wears rings on top of them.
None of these people should be at this wedding or getting married. If you're gonna wear, also Slash, I know you don't know where you are, but like, at least pretend. You're like, oh, I was supposed to bring a ring. Don't have Slash do it. Sorry, like he's not a good best man. I'm getting.
It's true. I was like, Duff is clearly the better choice for the best man. He's the more responsible one between the two of them.
Not the best, but he's the better man.
Fun fact that's also deeply embarrassing. Logan was more obsessed with that gag than I was, and he insisted that we do that as a bit for our friend's wedding when we were his groomsmen.
No. No.
Yep. No, we were in his wedding, and I was supposed to be like, and then Logan was like, this, like, he had the ring. So for a split second, everyone in the audience was like, what? We did it. Yeah. Logan was like, no, we have to. He like basically like strong-armed me into doing it. I was like, I don't know. It's kind of silly. He's like, no, we have to do it. And then he did it.
This is, I love
absolute
Logan.
Dorks.
You have just made the same friend over and over again your whole life. Like every friend you've introduced me to, I can easily see them strong-arming you into doing this bit.
It's true. Thank you, Logan, for forcing me to do that, because now we have a great memory from our younger
amazing
years.
Story.
Anyway, we did it. Then in the music video, they put the finger rings on and all that. Dizzy like hugs his boo. They're like, oh, romantic. Yeah. Everyone's feeling lovely. And then you may kiss the bride. I don't know if you caught this. Open-mouthed French kiss.
Oh, yeah.
When they do.
Went in both open, like gaping mouths. And just latched onto each other. Like that was a gaper, that kiss. It's like,
you may now open mouth gape the bride. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yep. As is tradition.
As is tradition, right? That's what Jesus would have wanted. Then Slash walks out of the church to play what some consider, I certainly do, the most iconic guitar solo ever filmed.
Yeah.
Dead serious. Yeah.
It was awesome.
This is the one.
It was really good. It was soaring, and the camera was
like helicopter.
And he was, again, didn't know where he was, but he was doing great. He doesn't need to know where he is. He just needs to. You know
where he was, Hannah? He was in the moment. That's where he was.
He was in the moment, dude. I wish I could.
That's where Slash lives. Yeah, and of course, it's like magical realism. My favorite detail about that is he leaves this gigantic church, and when he goes outside to go play the guitar solo, suddenly they're in the middle of a desert, and the church is like a shack. It's like this tiny little like church. So it's like, it doesn't matter anymore. It's all just like, I don't know. It's like this interesting choice that I think like really sells the like emotional, like sort of bigness of the moment.
About where it's going to.
Yeah.
A little bit of a.
Anyways, it's magic. It's beautiful. His hair's flying in the wind. It's the best. Then they cut back to the happy couple leaving the church to get into their, whatever you call it, like the just married mobile. And then there's a shot that lingers on Elizabeth's, a little too long. Yeah. And she has this like, weird kind of like pensive look to her face.
She doesn't look happy.
No.
She looks like she's been told something.
Yeah, to quote our friend Alex, who I showed the video to last time, she said, something ain't right.
Alex is right. Something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
Slash is like, I'm the happiest. And she's just like, I got a foreboding. Maybe I shouldn't have married this 20-year-old rock star, but
even though she's also like a 20-year-old supermodel. So
look.
Also world famous. But then there's a shot of a mysterious figure walking at night by a gun store, which jury's out on who that was. Because essentially, as you said, everyone's hair looks the same. Yeah. And it's shot from the back. So you can't. And it's also like somebody wearing an oversized blazer, which could have also been the lady look at the time, too.
Anybody. So like worst trial of all time would just be like witness after witness with the same hair.
Yeah, and just being like, is it Axl Rose? Is it Stephanie Seymour? Is it Slash? Is it Duff? Right. Is it Dizzy? Is it Izzy? Is it? We don't know who it is because they all kind of look
Lizzie?
the same.
Is it Fizzy? Is it
Jizzy? Thin Lizzy? Is it Jizzy?
Yeah, Jizzy, my favorite member of Guns N' Roses.
Yes, Jizzy, incredible musician. Anyway, so we can't focus on that too long because now it's time to go to the reception, and suddenly, Mr. and Mrs. Main Man are cutting the cake. And Axl's wearing, I think, like I said, like a crushed blue velvet jacket, which you called curtains.
Shiny. It looked like Now that you say it, it just look like cheap Joanne fabrics. Like
it's all Joanne's. As I was saying during the recording, is that like somebody went to Joanne's Fabrics the night before and got it all ready.
Yeah.
But so do you remember how last episode I said this is kind of like the Barbenheimer of its day?
Oh, so it's like a mashup.
So this is what I mean. So as far as my experience with it was, I remember like my sister and like older girl cousins all being obsessed with this music video, which felt really insane because Guns N' Roses were like the rock and roll, like metal, like heavy bad boys and stuff. And like, that's not anything that they would have ever played on their like Walkman cassette players. But suddenly we were all like transfixed to this music video, like all the time showing. Right. Exactly. It was like this really weird, like overlap.
Yeah, interesting.
And, you know what I mean? Like it was strange. And I know that rock stars don't exist anymore, but to this day, in my mind, this is what all rock star weddings look like. Anytime somebody says that like a rock star got married, I'm like, it's November Rain. That's it. This is exactly what it looks like. This is exactly what happens to every rock star wedding.
I'm going to pretend that's true.
No, it is. It's in my mind, it's absolute fact. And then there's all these little like story beats that feel like, Slash would totally forget the rings because he probably drank a gallon of vodka the night before. And like Duff obviously would be the one to keep it together. And Axl obviously would be Bridezilla and have like 17 wardrobe changes, each more like, heightened than the previous one.
He is Bridezilla, dude.
He's totally Bridezilla. So it's like it's weird and it's funny.
8 outfits.
So many changes. And it's very like they're written to be like characters that are like these kind of comical versions of themselves almost, which is what's really funny. And knowing what I know about the band, like for real, like it's consistent with how they are.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you don't have actors, that's best you can do is be like, just be versions of yourself.
Yeah. And then, they're at the reception, everyone's dancing, everyone's smoking cigarettes, which is my other favorite thing about this. It's like so 90s.
Oh, the 90s, man.
Yeah. Including the bride, by the way, which at that time would have been like, you would have never seen like a bride smoking a cigarette on her wedding day. That would have been like so uncouth.
And I want to point out, we said this before, but everything smelled like cigarettes, you guys.
Yep.
Everywhere you went had a tinge of cigarette smell.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. And it's like your classic kind of wedding, whatever. It's like, the old people dancing and then like the young person dancing with the older person. And then there's the band
the
and the saxophonist.
Dancing together.
Yeah. All that kind of stuff.
Saxophonist. That was fun.
That was probably like the peak moment for you in the entire music video. It was like, there's a cut to one saxophonist and you're like, this is the best part of the video.
It was a tenor. I don't play tenor. Go on.
And then, of course, it starts November raining. And then once it starts November raining, everyone's scrambling to get their clothes, to like not get their clothes wet and to run inside. And then the reception culminates.
Tucks back to rentals. Like they can't get it wet.
What's his name? Joss A. something. I forget what the tux. Joss A. Banks is like, he's going to screw me. I'm going to have to pay like $600.
Joss is going to be literally like personally execute me if I bring this back wet.
It's true. And then the reception culminates in another absolutely iconic moment in a music video. And this is like the same. It's like it's like the fifth in the same music video, which is some Yahoo jumps through, as you point out, the $200 wedding cake, because apparently you're buying wedding cakes from like the 1800s. No wedding cake has cost $200 for like 60 years, Hannah. I don't know
not where I'm from. We traded our like art skills and like website design for all of our stuff. So we did not pay anything.
This is like a 5-tier wedding cake, by the way. If you're listening to this and you know the cost of dollars. Yeah, 100% that costs thousands.
What's the point of that? Everyone's going to eat it.
That's what you're supposed to get, a nice wedding
I may as well
wedding
just
cake.
Eat money. How about that?
That's how many people feel about weddings. Money would be delicious.
Don't get me
but
going
not
on the wedding
enough.
industry. It's a giant.
Wedding industrial complex.
It is such a ripoff. Here, you need this $2,000 cake. No, I don't. I can eat cupcakes I made.
We had cupcakes at our wedding, actually.
We did too.
We did, because it was. Here's your hack, ladies and gentlemen. If you get married, if you have cupcakes, you don't have to pay the person to cut the cake and plate them and then wash all those dishes and forks. If you just have everybody grab a cupcake and then you have like one little tiny cake for yourselves to cut, it saves you like lots of money.
That's what we did.
That's what we did too. Anyway,
and
the guy jumps through the cute. It's cute, and it's everyone's got their own individual little piece, and they can come grab it, and it's fine. But let me tell you, that image though, it's another one. Like it just lives in my brain rent free, of the guy diving through the cake.
He ruined that cake.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I paid money for that. I'm eating that off of your coat.
I
Sorry,
don't care. You would do that even if you hadn't paid money for that. You'd be like, it's a perfectly good cake. I could just still eat it off a coat. I don't care. It's fine.
It's true.
Dumpster dive.
Ding, ding. You're right.
You're going to be the employee at Josse Banks being like, I know it's covered in wedding cake, but I'm still going to eat it before I take it back.
Give me a minute. I'm going to suck this cake right off this outfit.
I'm going to help you out, bro. I know that you want to get your deposit back. You don't call me Hannah Vacuum Cleaner Hillam for nothing. Gaping the cake jacket.
And sadly, it's only because I gape cake jacket. It's nothing else.
Gape cake.
Gape cake jacket. I told you I'm bringing chaos today.
Yeah. Hannah Gape Cake Hillam. And then
I just pictured me like unhinging my jaw like a snake and putting an
You're
entire
like Kirby.
wedding cake
Yeah, just
into it. Oh, she's gaping
like sucking
it.
Yeah, gaping the cake.
I have an audience for some reason.
These days, that would be a YouTube channel. Watch Hannah gape this cake. Can she gape this cake before a man dives through it? If she can, she wins the full value of this $200 cake.
Look. Go on.
I'm looking.
I don't have anything.
Anyway, dives through the cake and brings it to the great mystery of this entire story. And the reason that I've had this tab open in my brain for 30 years, as well as everybody else's. As the song shifts into a dramatic march section, suddenly, without any explanation, they hard cut to Elizabeth in a coffin because she is dead.
She's dead, dude. And it was so fast that it took me like a second to be like, wait, that's a coffin. What's she doing in there? Who killed her?
Yep. And listen, take you back to 1990s. There's no way to reach out. You can't just go on your phone or go on Reddit. You can't go on Twitter or MySpace and start sharing theories and being like, what's the deal? You can't outsource this anymore. Everyone's just sort of like going insane. And then you would go talk to somebody at like school or like somebody that you knew. It'd just be like, how about that November Rain music video? What happened? Did she die?
Years.
Did he kill her? Did she kill herself? Did Slash have something to do with this? Was she on the Epstein list? Like, I don't understand what happened.
Slash forgot to bring the gun. He has nothing to do with this.
That's true. Slash wouldn't. But there's also that conspiracy that people have where like, why did Slash leave and go play a guitar solo as soon as they said their vows?
Oh, no.
I don't personally believe that, but I know that that's one that a lot of people subscribe to. They're like, there's something you're not paying attention to.
Yeah.
Anyway, chaos. And this
Absolutely.
is like absolute chaos. And imagine you're not being inundated with all kinds of information and all the stuff that we're seeing right now. So it's like a thing that everybody fixated on. They kept playing the music video over and over again. So people were like, what? So now Axl and the boys have gone from happy fun times at his wedding to her funeral, which, by the way, is open casket. And again, whole nine, eulogy, procession, burial, etc. Spared no expense. Same church. And as they lower her body into the ground, sadly not a bog, it begins November raining again. But this time, doesn't matter. There's all this frantic intercutting until the finale, which is Elizabeth tossing her white bouquet at the wedding. And we see it fly in the air and turn to red as it lands on her coffin. I actually think that's a really awesome shot. It's a really interesting transition.
It was like heavy-handed, but in a beautiful way. It was like, nice closing. That's a nice closing shot.
It's a really nice way to end the music video. And then it's like, Axl's FMLing by himself in the rain over the grave. And then he wakes up. Because remember, he took sleeping pills at the beginning. Was it
it all a dream?
Or was it a memory? No one knows.
What? Okay, but this is all based on a short story, which means we do know, right?
Listen, everyone... Let's lie down for a moment. So
okay, I will.
Everyone was shook back then, and to this day, people are still shook. And as of this recording, I don't know if you saw it, but November Rain has 2.3 billion plays on YouTube.
Whoa.
So this isn't just me being like, oh, I'm a weird old person who's like still fixated on this one thing. This is still like a very important like cultural holdover from the 90s.
Yeah, everyone in the comments is just like, I'm obsessed with this. My dad wants me to play this at his funeral. Wow. Everyone's like, see, I thought it was like goofy and funny, but everyone in the comments is like, this has changed my life.
No, it is goofy and funny, but it's also, listen, you know what this reminds me of is like, this is probably my closest thing to like a musical, like the whole like campy, like over the top thing that I know a lot of the musical kids like are obsessed with. This is like the only one I have of those where I'm like, I know that it's a disaster and I know that it's cheesy as shit, but it's also kind of like weirdly funny, like weirdly interesting, like,
deep.
Listen, deep. Okay, so hold on. I'll jump ahead a little bit in my notes, but there's a million articles written about this. But I love this excerpt from Bright Wall / Dark Room. It's a website. And they said, November Rain offers no commentary on the state of the world. It's a clip designed for people who like Guns N' Roses and for people who watch MTV all day. As such, it rewards rewatching. It's a jumble of scenes and confusing timeline unfold more clearly for an experienced eye as the brilliance behind the excess becomes clear. But here's my favorite part of what they wrote. Maybe it's a little clumsy, a little boneheaded, a little like watching the jocks and bullies try to star in the school play, but it's an unblinking attempt, which I think is like, that's the perfect unblinking of like, that's their earnest attempt at like absolute sincerity, which is why I think it's so, you kind of can't turn away, even though like us who are artists and like whatever would be like, oh, this is so gaudy, we wouldn't do this. But like, I think there's something kind of interesting about it.
And it's of its time, and it's like it's like a pinnacle of what was happening at the time.
Yeah, and also,
go ahead. Sorry,
no, it's true.
That's what I felt like with the other one I watched too, the Don't Cry or whatever.
Yeah,
it's just a jumble of scenes, which is genius because then everyone wants to like somehow pause the scene and see what's happening, and you know, it's like it adds to it. But yeah, no, it is what is it, unblinking?
Yeah.
That's a great way to describe what was just happening.
It's the jocks trying to put on a play, but like and as sincere as possible.
So earnest. Everything about it is
super
like
earnest.
Check out what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting contrast to like, you know, the band that drinks a bottle of Jack Daniels when they wake up and then fights people and like, you know, sets themselves on fire and stuff. Which is not something you would necessarily
Oasis,
see.
Their tour is going well. I heard.
Anyway, so it should be noted, no official explanation was or has ever been given by anyone in the band or the creative team that put it together, either because they want it to remain open to interpretation or they didn't really know.
There is none.
But a few things are pretty obvious, while other things still remain unclear, even after having read the short story.
Okay.
But
okay.
The first thing I'll say is, don't forget, these videos are inspired by Del's short story. It's not an exact, what's the word I'm thinking of, adaptation of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I can tell you, when you read something and then you turn it into film, it's like you're supposed to take whatever the essence and the idea, and sort of what the creative spirit of this thing is before you make it into a film. Because if you do too much of like a literal interpretation of it, it doesn't necessarily, it doesn't translate from medium to medium. And I think having read the short story with all the problems I have with it, I'm like, it's kind of an interesting interpretation of the short story because a lot of the form of how it works and how it functions is how the music videos end up playing out. And because the story itself, not much happens in it, but I'm going to give you, so now I'm going to explain the short story. So the short begins with main man, who is Axl Rose's character, waking up from a recurring nightmare in a cold sweat. The same one where he ogles a sexy dancing lady who then puts a gun to her head.
Okay.
His home is thrashed from the night before, but he slams a Budweiser and looks for more booze because he's got a raging hangover.
Devastating. It's really sad already.
Also, he needed to be at the studio soon to supervise the mix of his latest record, imaginatively titled Alone.
Yeah, heavy-handed.
Oh, it's very heavy-handed, much like the music video.
Unapologetically so, I think.
Yeah, then he goes skiing, if you know what I mean, and drinks some whiskey and can properly begin his day. And as he's starting to sort of wake up a little bit, he picks up the phone and calls 411 to ask the operator what day it is. It was Wednesday.
Forgot all about 411.
Yeah. Then he cleans up a little bit because he's just like, okay, I got to get it together. Like, blah, 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 blah. He grabs like a trash can and throws away some of like whatever, the red cups and all that crap. And then his mind starts to wander. And this is a passage that I really liked in it. Quote, inside his mind, he analyzed why his relationship with Elizabeth had failed more times than were countable. Like the scholar he wasn't, he dissected situations, pondering he should have said and shouldn't have been caught doing. I just love the scholar he wasn't.
So far, this is, instance by instance, exactly how my day's gone today.
Really? Like the scholar you weren't?
No, cocaine.
Cocaine, drinking a bunch, cleaning.
Trash can.
Yeah, it's very like you said, moment to moment, kind of like inside his own head of just being like, I'm going to do this. And this reminds me of this thing. And then I'm doing this thing. And then this reminds me of this. And then I should probably do this. But then I remember this thing from like 10 years ago, which if you look at the form of the video, right? Like the video's intercutting. It's like jumping time over and over again. It does kind of meander in that way where it feels kind of like what's going on inside your head. Like, so that's what I mean. It's interesting that he takes the form and like how they adapt it to the film version of it as opposed to what
similar.
the short story is. Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
but it's not
it
literal.
really does show like the way like a rock star on drugs and drunk and performing would be seeing the world. It's just like one thing after the other. I guess I'm here. Okay, now I'm here. Okay, now I'm here. Now I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Which
it's a lot of associations.
And also, I did not do cocaine this morning for full. Just need everyone to know that.
Or did you? We don't know. Much like the November Rain music video, this podcast will be analyzed 30 years from now when somebody else has a tab open in their brains for whatever the next medium's going to be.
Yeah.
And then they adapt it into like 16 music videos. So from there, it goes into a very predictable backstory. Blah, blah, blah. Just because, Maine would stray from the relationship sometimes didn't mean he didn't love Elizabeth. Blah, blah, blah. Justification. And on the first big tour with his previous band, Suicide Shift, great band name, by the way.
That's a great
He tries
name.
to get her to come out so he can be accountable because he's like, it's so hard without you on the road.
We're going to put her in charge of his actions. Yeah.
100%.
Easy. Great. That's what we're here
That's
for.
That's the mature way of doing
That's
it. Yeah.
Women.
So unfortunately,
if we're not around, something bad's going to happen.
What are we supposed to do? But unfortunately for him, she has a life of her own, so she can only fly out every few weeks.
Good for her.
And back and forth, back and forth. He does drugs, more performing, getting off in front of the crowd, etc., so on and so forth, until the last night of the tour. Elizabeth comes to surprise him, but tragically catches Maine in the middle of a three-way.
Oh, I feel like if I walked in on that, I'd probably just laugh first and then be mad. I'd be like, oh, this? Okay.
I'd probably sit down and look at my phone and be like, let me know when you're done. All right. I'm like, I had a schedule to keep. I don't have time to argue.
I came here for you and finish up so
we can fight about this. No. So he's in the middle of a three-way. She storms off. He's like, we can be a throuple, but those hadn't been invented yet. So because he's too forward thinking, and it's like, no, blah, blah, and then it's over. Then we snap back to present day where he tries to call her, but no answer. So instead, he calls his dealer, Jamie. Jamie comes over and gives him the goods. And then whatever, there's like a weird exchange and then he leaves. And his mate is about to shoot up. He sees an old photo album. And he remembers a trip with Elizabeth to Vegas and starts to jork it using Dom Perignon as lube.
No, he doesn't.
He absolutely does.
This is in the story?
This is in the story.
Okay, all right. Hold on. Okay. If a friend wrote a story about me and this was in it, I'd be like, buddy.
You'd be like, first of all,
how did you
I'm
know what I
gaping
was
cake.
doing?
I'm not using Dom Perignon.
I use it to gape cake, but not to jork it, as you just said. Jorking the cake. If I were him and reading this, I'd be like, okay.
Listen, I don't want to get into all the specifics of this, but first of all, champagne, sticky.
Yeah,
not a great idea.
It's
not a good
sugary.
option.
It's like
terrible option. Terrible option. You got to use that nice extra virgin Italian olive oil.
You get literally anything but champagne.
Motor oil. That would have been better.
Motor oil's fine. Anything. Nothing is better
Dom
than
Perignon.
champagne.
That's excess. It's like I can't even be bothered to use like working class Vaseline. I have to drink Dom Perignon.
Okay. Why didn't they put that in the music video? I'm pissed.
That's what I said. I was like, that should have just been the entire film.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you know how much I would have screamed so loud? I would not
it would
have
have been
able to
amazing to see you screaming at that.
Yeah.
I think I said this last episode too. A lot of it just ends up turning into like this weird. Like, parts of it just meander into weird erotic fiction kind of stuff. Where it's like
Dennis Reynolds' an erotic life.
Yeah, it's literally what it is. And then this is a real quote, by the way, from the story. Quote.
Okay.
As he took hold of his wet erection, his thoughts began to slip.
No. Why are you doing this to me? Okay, all right. What? Don't use the word wet. Okay, go on. It's fine.
Wet and sticky. Let's say that too. His thoughts began to slip.
It's going to be a weird Kumatab, I'll tell you that.
Oh, him jerking off. That has to be one of the things that come in is that like when they have to give him an action, it's like somebody's in the middle of jorking it with Dom Perignon and then somebody else comes in. Again. Anyway, so in the middle of jorking it, he remembers Without You as his side of the story, not an apology per se. So his mind's wandering in the middle of it. He can't even focus on the jork. The song ends up being a massive hit. You're not
About
fully
all
into
this
it.
champagne and I can't even focus.
Can't even jork it to climax.
Keep going.
So Without You does end up becoming a massive hit. Like I said last time, it ends up being like a part of what pays for his like mansions and stuff. It's huge. And he was so generous and he felt so bad that he offered her half the royalties since it was about their relationship, but she politely declined. She was like, please just go away and leave me alone.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of it.
Wow.
So and he tours more and he goes around and he's feeling better. He's trying to clean his life up. And on the homecoming show in Los Angeles, he really, 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 really wants her to be there. So he's calling her over and over and he's like leaving her a backstage pass and he's like looking in the crowd and going
just
crazy.
Call her over and over and over. It does the trick.
It's always, it works best. After the 100th call, it's like that meme of like people, it's like 99% of gamblers don't know that like on the 100th try, that's when they're going to strike big. That's like the same mentality. Exactly. The 100th call is when she'll finally turn. But he's playing the show and he's called her a bunch and he's like, he leaves her a backstage pass and he's looking in the crowd and he's going crazy, but she never shows. So he skips all the post-show partying and he takes a limo to her house. And on the way, he keeps calling her and he's like, I don't care. I'm going to come up because I still love you. And we need to blah, 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 blah. And she doesn't pick up. And he's like, come on, you got to pick up. And I don't care. I'm coming to your place. And he's walking up the stairs to her front door and he hears Without You playing full blast.
Huh.
And as he walks up to knock on the door, he hears a gunshot.
Yeah, there it is. He wishes that this was about him. Okay.
He breaks in.
All right.
And he finds her unalived. She unalived herself.
She did.
And in a moment of desperation, he grabs the gun and he tries to join her. But it just goes click. The chamber was empty. And then he remembers a blowjob from Vegas and his edge fest is complete. That's literally the story. In the story, yeah.
You are kidding me.
I'm not joking.
What?
There's a little bit more writing between the two of those things that are bridged, but that's essentially the beats of what happens in that succession. Remember, it's non-linear. It's just going all these other places. So he's like in the middle of this, he remembered that. And then he remembered the champagne. And he's like, oh, we used to drink champagne in Vegas. And then he was in Vegas. He remembered like a blowjob that she gave her.
Blowjob.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
And then Edge Fest is over. And he's like, bleh. And then he snaps back to being sad in front of the photo album.
Wow. Okay, give me a second. This is an Always Sunny episode.
Yeah.
This is... Like, I know I joked about it being a Dennis Reynolds an erotic life, but this is actually what Dennis Reynolds would do. He'd be like, oh, I'm not going to kill myself because I remember what blowjobs are like.
Brings me back.
Sorry, I'm a little speechless right now. Like,
that's the point.
I still can't handle the fact that he wrote this about his friend.
Yep.
And then published it.
And his friend was like, hell yeah.
Videos. His friend was like, this is the best. You got it.
He's like, I'm going to write you inspired me to write a song.
You know me so well. I'm going to write a song about this book you wrote about me jacking off to a picture album of my suicided ex-wife.
This is, everything you're saying is correct. Nothing that you've said is incorrect or an exaggeration. Every single beat that you've described is fact.
All right. So, okay. All right.
Okay. So in the story, right, she unalives herself. Yes. And in November Rain, there are clues.
That she does it. Okay.
That she does it. Aside from the gun store, right, which is like, that's the first obvious clue. There was something I'd never paid attention to until this deep dive. Okay. Which is when they show her open casket, it's very quick, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I never realized this until now. If you pay close attention, you can see that it's actually only half of her face. Have you ever seen this before?
No, I just saw this video for the first time a minute ago.
No. Not in the music video. I just mean life. Okay. So apparently, when somebody has like some sort of trauma or like something on the face that they don't want to show, what they'll do is when they still want to have an open casket, they'll clean it up and then they'll put like a mirror in the middle of the casket so that it reflects half of their face.
I had no idea. So like if they got like head trauma or something, or a bullet wound.
Or in this case, a bullet wound in the head. So I guess that to me is the big giveaway.
I think that's what happened.
Like you said, she's like looking sad and she's like, something ain't right. Like, and you caught on to it immediately, but like all those things put together with like her head being gone and then Axel being sad. Cause again, I was too little, but I was like, well, did he kill her? Like, was she murdered? What's the deal? But like, although it is kind of funny that you said that like Axel doesn't look like he's sorry enough or he's not sad enough so that you're like, did he kill her and got away with it? Yeah. Then why would he have killed her? But now that I'm going to
blitzed out of his mind on like drugs and sex that he's like,
I think that's more of what it is. Yeah.
Because here's what it looks like to me. So the music video is the bookends of the story that you just told me. So it's like the tossing and turning in bed and then the remembering and then they just omit all of the jacking off and suicide.
Sadly. It's a questionable choice. Yeah.
I know. Unbelievable. And then pick up again at her funeral. So it's like more like inferred. Like, okay, go read the story and then you can know what happened in the middle of between the wedding and the funeral.
Effectively what they kept saying in every interview that they would have with them. Be like, oh, it's based on this short story by This is why I've had the tab open in my mind forever because they kept being like, if you want to know what happens, go. And I'm like, where am I supposed to find the short story? I don't have access to this.
I'm
the
10. Library.
Yeah. Well, 10-year-olds aren't allowed to read stories about jorking it to Dom Perignon.
Don't want to give him any ideas.
And of course Elizabeth, she's got like, she's like Job. She's like, I've made a huge mistake like that. And that's why Axel's like so happy and she's so not feeling it because effectively
she is
like
not happy at the wedding. She's so upset. She's just like dead. Her eyes look dead. She's like, that was the first thing I noticed. I'm like, she's not happy to be here at all. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was smiling at my wedding.
Yeah, me too. I was
like
thrilled.
A lot. I was delighted.
And granted, all this doesn't happen in the short, but I believe the whole dream is a memory, or as I like to call it now, a dreamery. It's about Maine's regrets of trying to make fetch happen and using his incredible rock star charisma and reality distortion field to convince his girlfriend to get married. And that's why he's Bridezilla and she's the gloomy groom.
She is.
And Axel even said that November Rain. Yeah, he said that November Rain is about unrequited love. That's what the song itself is about. So
what?
So
she didn't even. Oh my god.
She didn't want to do it. So this is his and Fidel's filmic expression of that. The harder he loved her, the more he drove her mad. So mad that she too wanted to be one with the bog. And now Maine is doomed to live with the guilt of having done that to her.
Yeah, he'll forget about it after enough drugs.
Yeah,
but
remember, people. Other people are they're not NPCs. They have internal lives as well.
Yeah. They don't. Not everything revolves around like you and your career. But I'd like to say you said you're calling memories dreameries. I'm gonna say let's call these wet dreameries.
Wet dreameries, wet with Dom Perignon, of course.
But
dreameries. But Elizabeth's unaliving was not the end of the short story.
What? Oh, what else? What else does this guy do? What else does he jack off to? Tell me.
And as they were going to film the music video for Estranged, the third and final chapter of the music video trilogy, something unexpected but completely predictable happened. Stephanie Seymour and Axl Rose called it quits in real life. Like hard. They got into like a huge fight. They're suing each other and shit. And ain't no contracts to appear in a music video together being honored by anyone. But without their lead actress, how would they film the epic conclusion of Without You?
Oh, no.
And I'm sorry.
No.
But I will conclude this idiotic stretch of the dumbest series of tabs.
Your first three-parter is on this?
Listen, I am being held hostage. I'm being held hostage by this. And I have to close the loop. I have to close it.
I'm so excited. This is the first three-parter.
I'm so embarrassed that this is my three-parter because none of this matters, but I can't. I have to for my own sake. I'm sorry. I'm like holding everybody else hostage with this, but I have to get rid of it. I have to finish it. I have to be able to get it out of my brain forever.
Please, this is what this show is for. This is get that champagne, lube up your brain, and get it all out.
Listen, you can do it with a bunch of mums. You don't have to do it with Dom Perignon if you can't afford it.
You can do it with almost anything, turns out.
Anyway, all I'm going to say is...
Unbelievable.
For Estranged, they edge-sisted and managed to deliver a almost 10-minute epic of epics with a budget that ballooned to more than $4 million.
That's right. Oh. Insane, dude.
Yep.
Okay.
Totally stupid. But...
What in the world? That was a trip. You took me on a trip. I loved that.
The dumbest series of tabs I've ever done.
I know. I'm not even kidding. I love that. I love that.
Okay,
this is
good.
What you're doing a three-parter on. It's incredible. I'm celebrating the first three-parter in history of open tabs. What's our podcast called? 500 open tabs.
500 open tabs. Well, does you did the 4-part LGBT
I saw that more as like that's not one story. That was like a series.
I guess so.
This is a 3-part story.
I cannot believe that this is a 3-part story, and I'm just as shocked by this as you are. But I just kept writing, and I'm like, I can't. I was like, I have to finish I have to close the loop. This is like a mental illness for me.
Yes. No, I know. This whole podcast is a mental illness for both of us. All right. And the 3-part, it makes a perfect 3-parter because there's 3 music videos.
It's a trilogy. I never thought I'd have this much to say and write about the Guns N' Roses November Rain trilogy, but here we are. Bro, you think those two are like insane? Just wait till you see Estranged. Estranged is even more like stupid and like doesn't make sense. I love it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it. So in the meantime, don't watch Estranged, but you have now watched. You're like, oh, don't worry, that's not gonna be a problem for me.
I won't.
So moving on to my tab. This is so stupid, but here we are. Part 3 of my November Rain trilogy tabs.
I love that this is your first 3-parter. I love it.
Has it all been worth it? Absolutely not.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Am I clearly mentally ill? Yes.
Yeah. Well, who isn't? People who aren't clearly mentally ill, I'm like, what's happening with you?
What's wrong with you? I don't know. I don't care about anything anymore, and I cannot believe that this is the tab that I spent the most time on. But there's so many more important things I could have talked about. But like I keep saying, this is no longer about the show. This is about me needing to purge a story that's been playing on loop in my brain for 30 plus years, and it needs just to be excised from my body. I hate it, and I've been held hostage.
This is what this show is about.
Yeah.
It's about learning to let go of open tabs.
Exactly. Yeah. It's being held hostage, and the cosmic attempts to save me have been as lucky as Jimmy Carter's. But at last, Reagan is hours away from being sworn in, and I can finally be released from this prison of my own making.
Blessed day.
Yeah. So if you haven't listened to the last 2 episodes...
Own it, dude. Just lean in.
You should go back and listen to them for Hannah's tabs, not mine. But if you do want context...
You know, I knew nothing about this at all. I've learned a ton.
I do know that you didn't know. But if you want context, last episode I got into the production of Guns N' Roses' music video for November Rain, how it took inspiration from Del James's short story titled Without You, which was inspired by Axl's previous relationship with then girlfriend, future ex-wife Erin Everly, but then started to influence his then current relationship with supermodel Stephanie Seymour.
Yes.
And I got into all the symbolism and whatnot, and I broke down the story of Without You, and that it revealed that in the short, Axl, or Main Man, as he's known in the short story, love bombed and smothered Elizabeth, the woman that he loved, into marrying him, and he's ecstatic and dressed like Jareth the Goblin King, and she's not, and she decides to unalive herself, leaving Maine alone and sad and feeling responsible, while meanwhile in the real world, his relationship with Seymour falls apart rather dramatically, leaving them without the female lead for the 3rd part of the music video trilogy Estranged, which is what I will be discussing today.
Oh, okay. That was really concise. Thank you.
Thank you. So if you remember way back when I first started this series in the previous century, Estranged...
Back in 1878.
Back when John was making the mechanical Jesus and jizzing all over it. Estranged was a song that Axl had in mind before Guns N' Roses even released their first album, Appetite for Destruction. And he had written it after reading Del's short as his inspiration of Without You, which in the story is the song that Maine wrote about his breakup with Stephanie, Aaron, Elizabeth, throw me in the wood chipper, please, to the FBI agent assigned to spy on me, just end me, just do us all a favor. It's better that way.
He's asking you politely. He won't fight at this point. He won't fight. Just before you take him to some black site
just
where no one knows where he is, just put him in a wood chipper. Easy.
Just put me in the wood chipper. Just let it be done. So stupid. Without You, the song in the story pushes Elizabeth off the edge, causing her to get, Epsteined. And then Maine comes in and finds her. And as the kids would say, he is wrecked. And now in the spirit of the music videos and short story, I'm going to change up the order a little. And last time I left you with the cliffhanger, what was Maine's fate after Elizabeth went to live on a farm upstate? I will conclude the magnum opus.
Unhinged. Unhinged, but I think this is what everyone's here for. So
yeah, this is just like I said, going insane. I'm not going to hinge it. So if you remember when I left off, Maine had ended his Edgefest,
Yeah.
And he was in front of the mechanical Jesus. Yes.
Oh, that's...
He was
circle.
donating his universal fluid, right? That's what it was called?
Universal
He was
fluid.
donating his universal fluid to the photo album that he was looking at.
Perfect.
And he sort of comes to, and he gets post-nut clarity, and he starts dancing with Mr. Brownstone, who'd been knocking and wouldn't leave him alone. Because remember, he used to do a little wouldn't do it, but the little got more and more. He just kept trying to get a little better, just a little better than before. That's a lyric.
Okay. I figured.
Heroin.
I'm just going with it. I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm with you, okay? We're soaring through this tab, and I'm here.
This one's going to be a
ride. Questions. I'm not
this one's
questions.
A ride.
I'm here for it.
So he dances with Mr.
Gape cake. Okay,
Gape
I'm here to talk.
cake.
I'm here to talk about mechanical Jesus and Gape cake, and I just finished talking about mechanical Jesus. We're disgusting. Are we 14?
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, go.
He dances with Mr. Brownstone, and then he's high, and all the while he starts remembering about his unalived boo. By the way, I'm not sure if I was clear about this. This is the rest of the short story.
Oh, you were not.
That's what I'm explaining. I think I just ran through this very quickly.
You did.
But just to back up a little bit.
Yeah.
It is. Okay, so this is what happens in the rest of the short story without you.
Okay.
So he comes to, post-nut clarity, dances with Mr. Brownstone. Then he starts remembering Elizabeth being dead again. And he's like, why did she have to die? Why, Lord, why? Why me? He has like nowhere else to direct all of his like big feelings because he's having a lot of them. And then he starts to punch the shit out of his condo. He just starts breaking things. Walls, lamps, platinum records. It's a classic rock star shit. He just starts destroying everything.
Which is easy to do in America because our walls are made of cardboard, pretty much.
It's true. And then he started to get really crazy. Quote, no matter how many hotel rooms he trashed during his career, Maine had never harmed a guitar.
Oh, no. An innocent guitar is about to die?
That was strictly taboo until today. He walked over to the row of guitars, grabbed a 68 Stratocaster by its stringed neck and swung, smashing the mahogany body until it was little more than firewood. End quote.
That is mediocre writing. Let's use, I don't know, man.
No, this is tragic, Hannah.
Sorry. I'm crying.
It's sad.
I'm crying. You just can't tell.
Now he's feeling something and he's smiling and he starts breaking even more shit. And then he turns on the radio because we all need a soundtrack to our self-destruction.
Well, yeah.
And he's like blasting it. And coincidentally, it's a bunch of artists that reminded him of why he wanted to become a musician in the first place, like Humble Pie and the Allman Brothers. And he's having the best time and he's breaking things and he goes to grab another
Cashew
beer.
Brothers better.
I'm being a Middle Easterner. I love the Pistachio Brothers myself.
Of course.
But yes, Cashew's great too. A little bit fatty for me.
Pistachio Brothers formed you as a person.
It's true. I love Pistachio Brothers in my coffee.
The Pine Nut Brothers, not good.
Not great. It goes, some like people like to put it on, I don't know, pasta. I don't care. Whatever.
I don't care. No, me neither. I can't do this much longer. This riff. So
neither can I. I'm trying to get this stab done. So he's having a great time. He grabs another beer. And then while the music's playing, it cuts to commercial because, he didn't pay for Spotify Premium. And like it's an ad for whatever, Sky Reezy. And then it's time for an ad for a record store.
Okay.
You can make your very own website. Squarespace, please pay us money. I would take money. Please give us money.
I'll say whatever you want. I
don't care. And then it's this record store. And in the background of the ad, they start playing Without You, of course.
Oh, of course.
And then Maine is super triggered like again. So he grabs the stereo receiver and he throws it over the balcony onto his fancy ass black Bentley. That's like whatever, 10 stories below.
Great.
And then he's mad at the guitars again.
If we had never found electricity, this never would have happened. This is
actually the kind of the antithesis of yours, where yours was he's taking a bunch of electric stuff and trying to put it together. This is his unraveling, where he's trying to destroy every single electric thing that's in his home. It's poetic. And he's mad at the guitars and he's throwing beer cans at them. And then for some reason it veers into like this leftist anti-capitalist message against the record company overlords not caring about art and exploiting like the worker class. Wow, and then he remembers he's mad at the guitars again, and then he really goes after them, and he destroys this like really another telly, and then one of his many, many Les Pauls. And then his neighbor starts like banging, he's like knocking on the wall, being like, keep it down, you asshole. But then Maine's activated, and then he records a terrible Bob Dylan cover that completely misses the point of the song. You won't get that reference, but Guns N' Roses fans will. And then the neighbor keeps banging, so Maine he goes skiing again, wink, wink. And then he goes into his wall safe and he grabs a Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum and he starts shooting the wall.
Oh, of his safe?
No, at the neighbor where the neighbor's banging. He just goes like bang, 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 bang.
Buddy.
And the banging stops, but Maine, he's just getting started. And he starts shooting a bunch of other stuff, and then he puts it to his temple, and he's about to end it all, but then he sees, what does he see? More Les Paul guitars. And then he gets offended. Yeah.
It's like, I didn't get them all.
This is like a guitar aside or something. I don't know. It's like he's just here to kill as many guitars as possible.
Guitars.
Yeah.
What did they ever do to you?
Nothing. All they did was bring him joy. So he shoots the guitar instead, and then he throws the remains over the balcony like a dead body. And by this point, a bunch of people on the street had gathered around to be like, what the shit is going on? And then he's like, you like that? Here you go. So then he goes into his safe and he grabs all this cash and he just makes it rain. He just throws it all down to the people on the street below.
This is the folly of fame. It turns you into a monster.
And then what does he see? Take a wild guess what he sees.
The dead guy he just killed through the wall?
I don't think he kills. I don't think it's implied that he kills the neighbor. I think he's just randomly shooting, being
Does
like,
he
shut
see
up.
Another
and then the guy's
guitar?
like, yeah, he sees another Les Paul. But this one, this was his most prized possession. There's so many Les Pauls that are destroyed in this story. But this one's a 1957 and it's in Sunburst. It's a beautiful guitar.
Wow.
He tries playing it. He sits down, but it's hard because his hands are all mashed up because he just punched a bunch of stuff and like shooting and doing all this stuff. But he tries to get out a song. And it reminds him of a simpler time before he was main man and just, you ready for this? Stephen Maynard Mandrake.
What? Steve Mandrake was his name?
Stephen Maynard Mandrake. Changed his name to Main Man.
I would have kept it as Steve Mandrake. That's an awesome name.
Or Maynard
Way
Mandrake.
Better than Main Man.
Or Nard instead of Maine. I don't know.
Right. Nard Mandrake.
Nard Mandrake. Lord Nard Mandrake.
Please welcome Lord.
Of the Marmites. I don't know.
Of the Mandrakes. Okay, so Steve Mandrake plays his guitar.
He plays his guitar. Meanwhile, in the other room, a lit cigarette that he just tossed on the bed starts to do its thing.
Ugh.
But he's too high and too emotional to notice. And he starts thinking about Elizabeth even more, and he wants to sing to her. And finally, he works up the courage to do it. So he goes over to his piano and he sings Without You as everything starts to burn around him. And then
he dies.
He's gone. He's died. That's it. The end.
He dies in a fire he started?
He dies in a fire he started in a drunken and heroin and cocaine-induced stupor while he's playing the song Without You and singing to his dead, love of his life, whatever, and that's it.
Narcissism. Wait, that's how it ends?
Else's fault. Okay, Hannah? How dare you?
How could this have happened to him?
So that's it. That's what that happened. That's how the story ends.
So his best friend says, here's the story I wrote for you, and in the end, you die after shooting a gun at the wall over and over, punching it till your fists bleed, and then playing your guitar and crying. Cool. And Axl Rose
and the piano.
Like,
don't forget, he ends on the piano.
Piano.
And Axl's like, this is
you
incredible.
Know me. You know me.
It's like you peered inside of my brain. So now it's time to film Estranged.
Oh my
So what the hell are they going to do?
Right.
Guess what time it is, everybody?
Time for me to watch it?
Time for another Patreon exclusive.
Oh, yeah. Woo, 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 woo. Watching me react to it.
We're going to have to have you watch this together.
Oh, no, never mind. Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and watch this. If you are a subscriber to Patreon, this will be on there. But if not, we're just going to watch it real quick and then come back to it.
And we'll kind of give a rundown.
Yep. All right. So now we're back from our watch. Lots of questions, I'm sure. But I'm going to do a quick, we're going to do a quick recap. All right.
Okay.
We'll do a quick recap and then we'll get into it. So I'll say this up top. Okay.
Yeah.
I love this video and I don't care, but it is a goddamn mess. It is a train wreck of a music video.
It's a train. No, there's no sense to it whatsoever. You think you're going to get it and you're like, oh, they're never going to show that part again?
Nope.
Why was he at his house in the beginning and they never went back to it? Was he dead? Was he dying?
I don't know. Okay,
why'd the cops come?
Let's recap. So it begins with, as you pointed out in the Patreon exclusive, well, it looks like a SWAT team storming Maine's mansion with guns out for some reason, along with police helicopters and an EMT. Because when you storm somebody's house with guns, you bring the EMTs with you at the same time because that's standard protocol.
No one's out of a job, all right?
No
one's out of a job except for maybe Main Man. But
listen, if you're a SWAT police officer with guns breaking in, don't bring the EMT officer in because that means they might get shot. Yeah. Also, they're just doing this. They're like holding up the guns.
First. Just go in and check it out.
None of this makes sense, but it does look cool and dramatic. And then there's like a helicopter flying over. It's like, it's very like more things. And then he's like, you said, he's asleep on like a giant shelf for some reason. And then they kind of can't find him. No one knows.
And he starts remembering like childhood and like being a kid, or he starts thinking of his kid. I couldn't tell if it was his kid or he was like being a kid. I took it as it's his younger
I'll explain who that is. Yes.
Oh.
I'll explain what all that is. But so then it's concert footage and there's like a stadium show, and then he goes backstage and then he kind of passes out, and then I guess he like disassociates from himself, and then his ghost body takes a shower wearing all of his clothes, which as you pointed out is the Charles Manson t-shirt and the Guns N' Roses branded shorts.
He's wearing his own merch. And a Charles Manson t-shirt.
Then there's more concert. Then it goes back to the mansion where everyone in the band's entourage is leaving, but they're all dressed in white. And then there's like this all white limo waiting for Maine, who's also has like a bike cop escort.
Is that like death or like ego
Again,
death?
I'm going to do the recap.
Okay,
Let's do the recap and then we'll get into all of it.
I don't know why I'm trying to make sense of this.
Then there's a dolphin emblem on the limo, which is the white stretch limo. So it's all white.
Yeah.
Then it's the band back on tour, and then they're in this gigantic hangar with, by the way, I looked this up. It's an Antonov AN-124 Ruslan aircraft, which is gigantic.
Huge.
It is a gigantic airplane. And then it opens its trunk to reveal that it's filled with water and like a dolphin that defies the laws of physics and is just swimming in it.
Swims out. And the band is like, yeah, it makes sense.
This is the kind of thing where like in the movie, like in a Mission Impossible movie where they're like, oh, we have a giant plane that we need to like dump this other plane out of like in its caboose. Like that's how big this plane is.
Like it shouldn't exist. That's the thing. It's like we did this. We made this plane that can be this big and carry another plane and then also fly. Anyway.
Yo, dog, I heard you like planes, so we put a plane inside your plane so you can plane while you plane. And then it's Maine walking the Sunset Strip, but the street is filled with water in which dolphins are also swimming. Then the dolphins swim out of a billboard. A Slash plays a floating solo. Then it cuts to a straight up oil tanker. Yeah. Where, as you know, most rock bands spend their time because that's very normal. So far.
Here's the thing. He couldn't stand that oil tanker because he jumped right off of it.
Immediately. He jumps off the side, which is a pretty crazy stunt. And then.
Yeah.
Gilby Clarke throws down a life preserver, but Maine throws it away. Duff tries to come in on a rowboat to save him, but the waves are too big, and Maine's also not interested. And then it looks like it's all over. He's like, whatever, screw this. But then who shows up, Hannah?
Dolphins.
Dolphins show up.
They're there for him when no one else was. Actually, when everyone else was. He decided to only listen to the dolphins. So that's the reality we're in this video. Everyone tried to help him. Begged him. No, I'm just gonna die.
No dolphins. And then he swims with the dolphins, and it's like kind of peaceful. And then, in my opinion,
an intervention, but the whole circle of the intervention is just dolphins.
Just dolphins.
Like, look, man, we care about you. And in the subtitles, it's like, we love you. We want you to get better.
And he's like, thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, that's good. You're much better at dolphins than I am.
I've always been good at dolphin noises. I don't know.
You should have been doing that this entire time. I can't believe we just recorded a whole 10-minute you reacting to this video and you didn't do a single dolphin noise. Anyway, maybe we can add it in post. He swims with Maine and he's excited, and then he's like feeling peace. And then the worst guitar solo ever on film happens, which I love. Slash emerges.
I think I screamed. If I remember
You did
correctly.
Scream. It's incredible.
I was like,
I love it.
Because he just came out of the water like magic and just stood on it like Jesus.
It's so stupid that it crosses over into amazing. That's why I love it.
Exactly. And it does it so quickly.
Yeah.
It's so quick to be like, what the? Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know. And then Matt Sorum shows up, who's the drummer, in a Coast Guard helicopter, and they find him. And I don't understand. Like, it looks like they save him, but I don't know. And then the last shot is Axel's custom Converse high top falling to the bottom of the ocean, which I guess means it wasn't It was, in fact, Axel. It wasn't Maine. I don't know. Like, it's getting a little bit sloppy there. Doesn't matter.
It's like at the end it's Axel because it's all been about him.
The end. Whatever. That's the quick summary of the video. So the first question that we all have is, what the shit is with all the dolphins?
Why? What? I know it was like 1997, and
no, not even.
When was this?
Way early. It's earlier than that. I think this is like, I forgot to look up the year. I want to say it's 93 or 92. 94,
either way, the 90s is like dolphin central because every like little girl's planner, every like sketchbook, every poster had dolphins.
Lisa Frank
dolphins. There was all those like fuzzy create your own artworks of dolphins, like the fuzzy paintings or whatever.
I'm just imagining Axl Rose with his Lisa Frank notebook. Well, that's covered with dolphins, writing the lyrics to Estranged in it with like hearts on top of his eyes. And he's got like a pencil with one of those pom-pom, what do they call it at the end of them that are bright? Yeah. It's all holographic.
The pom-pom. And he's
on the bed, like going like this with like kicking his feet in the back, writing about it.
Go away, Mom, when she tries to give him like a sandwich. Dolphins were like the thing. They're like the mystical, like
interesting animal at the time. I wonder why.
Then we all found out that they would just sexually assault people who wanted to train them.
People. At the time, though, no one said shit about what it was, and they tried to keep it a creative mystery. Because to be fair, I don't question symbolism when I make things. You just kind of trust your subconscious. If it's telling you something and it feels right, you just have to kind of go with it.
Yeah, it
and then you can place meaning on it later.
Buy Cat People. It's on sale right now.
Exactly.
Speaking of not knowing what symbolism comes out until it comes out.
Yep.
Buy my book. Okay,
exactly.
Plug over.
But years later, director Andy Morahan said to Kerrang, quote, Axl had split up with Stephanie Seymour, and he was like, I don't want any more beautiful girls in my videos. I'd rather have a dolphin. We knew that we were deliberately doing that so people would go, what's all that about? There was a sense that it was throwing up a lot more questions than answers, and that suited everybody. It created a myth and intrigue around the whole trilogy.
No, it just made him look like a dork. A dolphin dork. Look, they missed the mark. A dolphin boy. Yeah. I watched it and I was like, okay, someone loves dolphins. Someone's trying to kill themselves by drowning, and they also love dolphins. I didn't even think about women. They want to be
one with them. Yeah. It's like his familiar.
Ladies.
It's like his...
It's his familiar, a witch and his familiar.
More clarification from Axl himself. Quote, the dolphins were to assimilate a state of peace or a state of grace. It was not originally intended, but in the next scene, I will be drowned and go to heaven, and I really didn't want to shoot a heaven scene.
Okay, great. He didn't want to shoot a heaven scene. He's like, we'll just bring in the dolphins.
He's bringing a dolphin. I don't care. I don't want to have to deal with any more like hot models that I might fall in love with. I'm just going to swim with dolphins, and that's cool. And everyone's like, sure, whatever. So real quick before I move on with the rest of this, because you kept asking the question of the kid, which your symbolism is interesting the way you interpreted it. But that was apparently Stephanie Seymour's son. So she had a son from a previous relationship. And I think Dylan was his name. And Axl and Dylan apparently had they were supposedly very tight. Like they got along very well. And when when him and Stephanie had broken up, Axl was like, I need to talk to Dylan and I don't know how to communicate with him. And so he like included these clips of him in the video as a way to try and communicate with him, quote unquote, allegedly, to be like, so he understood. And I'm like, meanwhile, I don't think the kid understands anything or he like cares who Axl Rose is. But anyway.
Maybe it was like a future kid. Like you can watch this and know that I cared about you and that.
Yeah, maybe.
I really wish we could still be father and son or whatever.
Yeah. Something like that. But there's some like weird, like super personal thing that ended up sort of permeating into this.
Interesting. I thought it was just his like younger self that he was taking care of, which.
I mean, I definitely think that there's some level of that bleeds into it where it's like he's sort of faced with something with like a child that he probably didn't really have any time to, or he had not spent any time with any children.
Right.
That's probably the first one as an adult where he's like, oh, people were once children and like I need to think of people as like people.
I've learned empathy. Empathy learned. +1 empathy.
Exactly. So it's important to note that Guns N' Roses is on the back end of their success at this point, and the band is very close to imploding from Axl's maniacal need for control.
Oh.
And there's a BTS video for this one too, and basically they interview all the other band members, and they're just like shrug emoji, shit. I don't know.
Didn't work.
I don't know what the hell any of this is. We're just Axl. They just told me to show up here. And Gilby Clark's like, yeah, they just told me to throw this one life preserver off the edge of this, and that's my inclusion in the video. I don't know. And Axl keeps talking about like wanting to shoot, like about dying and going to heaven, and he's like, oh, I want to do dolphins instead, much like you said. So I'm inclined to think this video is keeping in line with the themes and style of the other videos, specifically Don't Cry. Because technically, right? Because it's, okay, first of all, it doesn't make sense, right? As you said, a lot of it doesn't make sense. The other two videos made more sense, even in the way that they didn't make sense, because it provided more questions, but the symbolism at least kind of told some sort of a story.
And there was a beginning, middle, and end, vaguely, of like, story. This one was, I mean, I guess there was some of that with this, but this was just like free for all. It
was free for all. There is a beginning, a middle, and end to it, kind of, but also... if you're taking the form of how the other ones functioned in terms of the visual language, It is here as well. I think it's just not, the ideas are not developed.
Right,
and in part, that's because they lost their lead. Everyone's like totally over it and they don't want to do it. And then there's,
checked out.
I think, and it's like apparently almost like, I think somewhere I read was like, it's at least like $4 million was the cost of this music video. And people were like,
my goodness.
Why is there this plane that holds planes inside of it? Why is there like a oil tanker? Like, I can't stress to you how much this costs. Like, to have like shit like that, like, is crazy expensive.
We need to rent an oil tanker.
Literally, yes.
You can't.
Which I think they went to the Gulf of Mexico to shoot. They're not even shooting that in LA. So they're going like 4 states over to do that.
I mean, yeah, that's where they have oil tankers.
So it's like, I think everyone's like over it. Everyone's like, Axel's insane. This doesn't make sense. No one has any idea what's happening. There's too much money, too much drugs, etc., so on and so forth. So the other thing that confused me too was like, he talks about him going to heaven and then he wanted to do the dolphins instead. But then you said like his friends keep trying to save him. And then ultimately the helicopter saves him. Yeah. At the end, like he gets pulled up out. So absolutely, I think best case scenario. So I'm going to go with what I think this is. Right.
Okay.
I think that's meant to be kind of like another spiritual death.
Yeah. That is what it kind of read as.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new beginnings and deaths and ego deaths and stuff like that where I'm on to the next phase kind of vibe.
Yeah, so because remember in the first one, she's pulling him down underwater and then he's like inside of his own grave looking up. And then there's all these images of that kind of stuff happening, but he's not dead by the end of it. He's reborn.
There's this symbolic death in all of them.
Yes, exactly. So I think that's sort of what's happening here too.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, too much money, not enough time. It's not enough development.
Yeah.
Also,
it was almost there.
It was almost there, yeah. And as you pointed out, it's like everyone, what did you say? It was really funny. You were like, despite having every opportunity to be saved.
He denied, everyone tried to save him, but he was like, I just want the dolphins to save.
He's like, no. He's like, this is about my own weird self-pity. Like, I need to focus on me. And like, this, the only thing that can save me is these dolphins.
Not my friends. That's the thing that it's like, okay, hold on. I'm losing the plot here because don't you want like people to save you? Or is this really just about, I don't know. It just felt very like self-indulgent.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's so interesting about it. It's like, why would you include that if you didn't understand that is what they're doing, right?
I think it's probably I mean, I don't know how they were at the time, but it seems like they're all very divided and not working as a band anymore. And maybe that's like a symbol of that. Like they tried so many times to reach out and reach out and reach out, and he just wouldn't give them anything. Yeah. That he's driven them away. Maybe that was his recognition of it, that he's driven everybody away.
While also driving them away at the same time, which is the weird paradox of all of this.
Crazy, because doing that drove them away more. And then what,
right? Yeah.
So, I think it was like a kind of a clumsy attempt at being like, oh, I'm the issue.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'm the problem. Oh, too late.
And the idea of his whole entourage leaving dressed in white is very interesting, which I don't really get what they're getting at, but like, his old life is dead and they're all going to like whatever heaven, and he's mourning the fame and the success and the hangers on.
They're all leaving the house and
so like maybe that's part of his rebirth.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but the imagery is interesting, but it doesn't really seem to congeal in any specific way except for the dolphins.
Oh man, it's all that matters. Dolphins. At the end of the day, there's dolphins.
Dolphins are all that matters.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of dissonance here. There's a lot of dissonance.
I can see why this has haunted you for 30 years.
Yeah, and it's kind of like they do like one or two, I think they do maybe one more music videos. I want to say it's Since I Can't Have You is the song, I think.
Oh.
And I think it's the last one that they end up filming. And then they basically are like, because technically Guns N' Roses never officially breaks up because Axl goes insane and he forces everybody to, he like strong arms them into signing the rights of the name over to Guns N' Roses. I'm sorry, the name of Guns N' Roses over to him. And so he like Slash gets fired from the band and like Duff quits. So basically like everyone's gone from the band except for Axl. So there's like 20 years where Axl is the only person who's in Guns N' Roses. It's him and Dizzy. Yeah. Dizzy, who's the keyboardist. So like he owns the name of Guns N' Roses, and like there's all these legal battles and stuff, and then they released Chinese Democracy, and it kind of is like whatever, but no one's in it. So when they started doing the tour a couple of years ago, it was like 10 years ago, I guess now. That was like when Slash and Duff finally came back. So it's like the core kind of members. That's why it was a big deal.
Oh.
Yeah. So a lot of dissonance here, and that's essentially is like the swan song of Guns N' Roses as far as the as what
Dolphin
people
song.
knew them as. The Dolphin song. Yes, thank you. And 30 years later, as I like to quote Burn after reading. So what did we learn, Palmer?
Do you want me to answer that?
Does hindsight give us any clarity? And I have a hot take on it that no one else has pointed out, because no one else has ever been as unemployed as me to like piece this all together.
The combination of unemployed and obsessive really does create innovation.
Yes. So I have a take on all of this.
Okay, I want to hear your take, because to me it just seems like kind of thrown together. I mean, it shows like the fall, like I said, the folly of fame and the trap of ego and being in control and everyone doing things around you, and still, it's almost like I keep saying narcissism, but it's almost like each thing is just an out version of himself that he's doing. I don't know how to describe, like, even the women, everything's just like a version of him that he sees the world as. Through
his own lens of himself.
I think there's a deep, narcissistic, immature way of seeing this, and it seems like it drove everyone away. Everyone.
Yep. And it ended his idea of the empire crumbled, so to speak.
Yeah, and then he just held on, and he just kept going, and he held on, and it's like, you can't, I don't know, maybe stop.
Yeah. Okay, so I think, did you have more to say? I'm sorry, I didn't want to
No, that's just kind of what I came away with.
Okay.
From.
So I didn't figure this out until like the way end of writing this tab, and then I'm like,
really?
Oh, I see what this is. This is why I've been fixated on it in terms of what the story is. That's interesting.
Is there an animal where it shouldn't be?
Yeah, right. No. You're gonna love this. I think, and this is considering the trilogy of the music videos, the short story, and Axel's own life. So to fully understand this, you have to understand all of these things together.
Right.
They're
this
all
like a thesis.
It's a thesis. It's all together. It's not separate. And that's the problem, is that people are trying to just think about just the music video, when really you have to be watching the making of the music videos, and you have to know the making of how Axl Rose became what he was. And you have to also know about Del James and the story that was written.
Okay.
All
right.
You ready?
I'm excited. Yeah.
And I have two ways of thinking about this, but I'm going to use the reference that I know you will understand. Okay. My hot take is that this is the story, basically, of Macbeth.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. What? Okay. I'm so excited. I'm so happy right now. You said Macbeth and I felt like pure joy. Please tell me how.
Just don't tell me what you're thinking.
No, I mean, it is very much like he's very much a Macbeth figure, and that by the end of the play, Macbeth is insane. Everyone's gone. He got so paranoid that he drove, what was it? He killed Duncan. They killed Duncan, and living with the guilt of killing somebody and eating you alive until your entire country is no longer yours and everyone around you is out to get you, so you think. And the witches, the witches.
Del James gave him a vision of his future.
Del James is the witches. Oh, what? Okay, bro. His whole trajectory is 100% Macbeth. He builds this empire or inherits this empire or whatever, and then he destroys it through paranoia and suspicion and greed and human folly and all of it. Oh, okay. I love everything's Shakespeare, man. At the end of the day, Vice Principals is Shakespeare. Axl Rose is Shakespeare. Okay, you tell me everything.
That's it. You got it. I mean, basically, you got it. Yeah. I was like, that's it. Del James is his witch that tells him his future.
Yeah.
So the other way I thought about this at first, before I realized,
he tries to not follow that future. That's the thing with Macbeth. He's like, I'm not listening to you, and then through not listening, he ends up doing everything the witches say. Exactly right. Incredible. It's incredible. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. I more wanted you to. I was giving you this as like your thing to sort of.
Well, yeah. I'm
piece together because I think it's interesting. I'm like, I had that moment.
It's it's ego.
It's ego. It's control. It's like this
control. It's ruling over
control.
People. I mean, that's why we shouldn't have kings, because they're one person who can easily be influenced by witches and ghosts, like of their past or their wives, or like, who was it? Did she talked him into killing somebody, right? It was Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth
she
was
talks
the him
into killing a lot of people. I don't remember who. I
yeah, and it's just being like intertwined with this woman who is also insane and self-destructive, and the entire Scotland falling and him losing his kingdom.
That's the empire.
Holding
The
on.
empire of Guns N' Roses completely collapses by the end of it. Like the band ceases to be. That's basically his kingdom. So King Axel essentially like pushes everybody away and he dies. Yeah. And it's like, to me, also Macbeth, the genre that I would put it into in my own brain is like, I consider that like what did I call it? I wrote it down. I said it's a time travel tragedy.
Yeah.
So it's this person who is able to, in a way, go to the future and see what their life is going to be. And then they go back to the present and they're like, I'm not going to make the same mistakes as this vision that's given me. And in that process of thinking he has control, every decision he's making is pushing him further and further, ironically, back towards the exact thing that he thought he wasn't going to do, but in a so much more catastrophic way.
Yeah.
And granted, he doesn't die in a fire, right? Like sort of playing on the piano while all the guitars have gone back. But like he screwed everybody over in his life. He's destroyed this empire that like he had built that actually like, you know, used to mean something.
Could have been good.
Like, could have been good. Yeah. And while main man, that character didn't know any better, it's somehow more tragic because Axel knew and then he still kind of ended up going back towards this like weird, crazier, even worse outcome for it.
He made it worse just by trying to go against it, which is how a lot of things are in life. That's one of the biggest lessons from Macbeth is that you can't control fate.
Yeah, exactly.
If there is fate, whatever it is, whatever happens, you can't control it one way or the other because the control itself is going to result in what you don't want.
Yeah.
And no one wanted to be around him. And like at the end of Macbeth, he's left completely alone.
Yep.
He is his kingdom, and that kingdom is broken. Dang.
Exactly. And it's kind of crazy because, you know, Axl Rose, obviously not a stable individual.
No.
But to not know, it's funny because they would just hint at the story. Yeah. And like, they're like in the making of, they're like, oh, it's just this fun little story that like my friend wrote that like I got inspired. But I'm like, but if you think about Axl Rose as Macbeth, it's like this story has driven him insane over the course of those 10 years. And it caused him to spiral. And all this stuff comes from this weird
love and
witch vision, like this vision given to him by a witch in which he thinks that's
bro. Once I realized that, I was like, oh, the witches, that's definitely Del James. That's crazy. And I wonder if it probably wasn't meant for this, but like that's just how like time and time again these stories are told, and that's why we relate so much to these timeless stories of man's fall to ego and paranoia and just again we've got another one. Whoa.
And if I had, I took you guys on the process, like I just did this like every week I was just writing this as I was sort of doing the research. But, you know, if I had really gone back, if I had really like done this properly, I would have come to this conclusion at the end of it and then be like, oh, it's Macbeth. And then I would have gone back and restructured all of this to be like, that would have been I came to my thesis at the end of this and I didn't realize it until having done all the research on it and read it.
Welcome to this podcast, everybody.
Yeah, so I'm sorry that I made you go through 3 episodes before I finally figured out what the Macbeth part of it was, but I thought it would be a fun reveal.
Because it was everything is very Shakespearean in how dramatic it is. And there are all these like stock characters and what is it, like the Jungian kind of thing where it's like very, I don't know, predictable characters in a good way. I mean, I liked it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'll say this. As I said, Guns N' Roses famously reunited about a decade ago with the main trio of Slash, Duff, and Axl. I did get to see them.
You did?
In Detroit. Yeah, when they first opened. Fun fact, I went with Logan, of course. It was like one of these weird random weekends that he was actually able to fly out. And then I was going out for Sarah's sister's wedding, funny enough. So there's weddings. It all ties back into each other. But we went to see them. Let me tell you, this is a paycheck reunion.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses, as much as I will absolutely love you guys forever, I think it is okay, nay, appropriate to imagine a future without you.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, retire. That was amazing.
Thank you.
You pulled it all together, man. Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you for bringing Shakespeare into it. You just activated me. And I mean, I had started reading Othello again recently because I wanted to do a whole episode about vice principals.
Yeah.
And that'll happen at some point because I didn't finish Othello. But no, there's these stories. This is what I love about Shakespeare. Like everyone like trashes England, but they got Shakespeare. That's good.
It's cool.
That's
Shakespeare
their thing.
Won. They got like, that's the one thing in the good column. And then like all the
like
colonial genocide is like, 10 billion other
but
things. But Shakespeare, it's a good one.
Yeah. And
Paul McCartney is another good one.
Paul McCartney's a nice one. Yeah. Beans on toast. Just kidding. Don't execute me, please. Anyway, that was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I'm glad. I'm so glad that I saw that at the end because I was like, oh, that's what this is.
It just tied it all
I can't believe
together.
I didn't pick it up at the beginning, but that's what it was. I basically wrote Macbeth by accident, and I'm like, that's what happened.
Incredible. Well, Ooh, I just too much universal fluid.
She drank too much, which means it's time to end the episode. Hannah, in the meantime, I will see you at the Richard Nixon, Secundus Nixon toilet. I'm trying to string them all together, and I gotta
like someone
figure
had
out.
a gun to your head, and you were like, "Fine, I'll do it."
I don't remember. It's the Dickie Nixie Icarus toilet in the sky.
And I'm gonna go with traditionalist stuff, and go say keep it Josie.
Keep it Josie, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bye. Bye. Never know how to do this. Making it weird.